Had breakfast everyone. Crash course. Crash course. Accounts first class. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಆಗಲೇ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅಡ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ? ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಜನವರಿಗೆ. ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಚಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರ? ಇವತ್ತು ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರ? ಓಕೆ, ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಗಲ್ರಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ. ಈಗ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಆಗಲೇ ಯಾರು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದು. ನಿಮಗೆ ಐ ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ನಾಟ್ ಟು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವೊಂದು ಸ್ಪೀಡಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಕಿಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನೋ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಆಗಲೇ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ. ಇದೊಂಥರ ರಿವಿಷನ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 100+ hours ಆಗೋ ಕಂಟೆಂಟನ್ನು 20 hours ತರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಈಗ. ಹಾಂ, ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸ್ಬಾರ್ದು ಇಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಂಗೇನು ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್. ಬರಪ್ಪ, ಇನ್ನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಗಾಗಲೇ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದು. Okay, how do we do? Because we have 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Around how many hours? 4 hours, 4.5 hours we get, considering some break. 92 is 5 hours, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 5 hours. ಅರ್ಧ ತಾಸು ತಗೋದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು 4.5 hours ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅರೌಂಡ್ 20 hours ಆಫ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಕವರಿಂಗ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ 20 hours, that is not possible. So you better give me a list. ಸರ್ ಇದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಇದನ್ನು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ನೀವು ರಿವೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಓಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ, ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಬೈ ದಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡ್. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಸಮ್ 10 minutes. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ ದ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ನೋ. ಈ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಂದ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಇದು ಮುಗಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡೋದು, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವೀಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಈ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಆದವ್ರು ಮೇ ಬಿ ನಿಂಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸೈಡ್. ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಇವನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ನೀವು ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ರಿವಿಷನ್. ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ರೋ ಎಕನಾಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತಂದೆ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಿತ್ ಅಂಡ್ ತುಷಾರ್ ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಬರೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಎಕ್ಸಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇವಾಗ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅವಾಗ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ಲಿ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೇಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ವೀಕ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್. 4 days ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಗ್ದೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ. ಮೇ ಬಿ ನಾಟ್ 100%, 80%. ನಿಮ್ಗೊಂದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಎಸ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಯರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗಿವ್ ಮಿ ದ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್. ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಕವರ್ ಆಗಲೇಬೇಕು. ಸೋಗ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇನ್ನು ಉಳಿದವರೆಲ್ಲೋ ಶಾಯಕ ಕೈ ಮಾಡು. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೆ? ಸಮರ್ಥ, ಅಕ್ಷಯ್. ಅವ್ನು ನಂಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದ, ನಾನೇ ಎತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಬೇಕಂತೇಳಿ ಎತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ ರಾಜ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೇಪರ್ ತಿರುಗಿಸು, ನಿಂಗೆ ಯಾವ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ನೋಡೋದನ್ನ.
ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಕ್ವಶ್ಚನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ವಿಟಿ ಬ್ರೀಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ವಿಟಿ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏಜೆನ್ಸಿ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕನ್ಸೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್.
ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ? ಯಾವ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ?
ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ.
ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ನೀನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ನೋಡಿದೆ? 3 attempts, 2 attempts. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಟೈಮ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯ? ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವ್ರು ನಿನ್ನೆ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಕೇಳೋ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹಂಗಿದೆ ಏನು? ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೀನು ಯಾವಾಗ ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ 10 ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅವಾಗಷ್ಟೇ ನಿಂಗೆ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ ವ್ಯೂ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಎವ್ರಿ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ 3 ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ 4 ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಿಂಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಓವರ್ ವ್ಯೂ ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಬಟ್ ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದು ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಓಕೆ ಯು ಗಿವ್ ಮಿ ದ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಸರ್, ಇದು ನಂಗೆ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ನೀವು. ನಂಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ ಬಟ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ನಂಗೆ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಬೇಕೇ ಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. ನಂಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಯು ಗಿವ್ ಮಿ ದ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್, ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡ್. ನೀವು ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ನೀವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಸರ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಫುಲ್ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ರಿವೈಸ್ ಎಂಟೈರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಸರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ನೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ರಿವೈಸ್ ದಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಯಾರಿಟಿ ವೈಸ್ ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವ. ನೀವು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಂಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾನು ತಗೋತೀನಿ. ಸಿ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಈಗ ಪೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಅನ್ನೆಸೆಸರಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ನನಗೆ. This is definitely required by page, line by line in the regular class, not in this revision class, crash course. We have to crash the syllabus. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ವರ್ಡ್ crash course ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿರೋದು. ಓಂಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ 10 minutes ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದು ಒಂದು ಪೇಪರ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳಿ. ಹೀಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅವನು ಯಾವ ಯೂನಿಟ್ 1 2 5 7 ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋ. 2 5 7 9 ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇಷ್ಟು ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇನ್ನು ಉಳಿದು ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಬಹಳ ಕಡೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್, ಯು ವರಿ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್.
ಅದೇ ಸರ್, ಅದೇ ಯಾವುದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ.
ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ನೀವೇನು ಬಿಡಬೇಡಿ. ನೀವು ಬೇರೆ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬಿಡಬೇಡಿ. That is what is that? Do or die match ಇದ್ದಂಗೆ ಅದು. Contract if you are perfect then you are done. If you are not perfect then you are also done.
कोई चैप्टर ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗ್ತೀವಿ.
ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ, ನಾ ಅಷ್ಟು ಶಾಣೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ. ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ 7 if you are selecting 3 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮತ್ತೆ LLP ಮತ್ತೆ So we will go by, if you ask me 2 3 4 6 ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ನಂಬರ್ 2 3 4 6 ಅದೇ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ 1 5 7 ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಪ್ ಟು ಯು, ಎಷ್ಟು ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ನೀವು ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. 2 3 4 6 ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮೋರ್ ದನ್ 90 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. ಬೇಡ, ಅವಳು ಚಳಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಪಾಪ, ಹುಷಾರಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಷ್ಟು ನಿಮಿಷ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಪಾಪ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ? ನಂಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ಜಾಕೆಟ್ ಬಿಚ್ಚಿ ಕುಂತಿದೆ. ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ.10 minutes maximum, 10 minutes you have to tell me. ನೋಡು ನೋಡು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಅಬ್ಬಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕು. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ 3 ಜನ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡು? ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರಿಗೆ ಆಡಿದ್ಯಾನ?
ಎಲ್ಲ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಯಾವ
See, chapter number 1, we will see at the end. If the time permits, we can do it. If not, there is nothing to discuss in chapter number 1. It is purely theory. We will begin with chapter number 2. Can anybody give the list? What are the things we have decided? Agency ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿವಿಷನ್ಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಬಂದ್ರಿ? ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆನೇ ಇಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಎಸ್,
Contingent and classic contracts,
ಓಕೆ
payment and pledge,
ಓಕೆ
agents.
ಓಕೆ
Sir, payment and pledge for the agents.
ಓಕೆ.
ಥರ್ಡ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Chapter
ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್
2.
ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಸರ್.
ಸೆಲಾ ಸೋಗ.
ಸೋಗಾಲಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಆಫ್ ಓನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಕ್ವಿಸಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೇರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ.
ಓಕೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ ಭಯ್ಯ ಸೇಮಾ? ಯಾವ್ದು ಸೇಮ್? ಇವ್ರದ್ದು ಹಾಂ.
The chapter 10 unpaid
ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏಜೆನ್ಸಿ.
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡ್. Then I don't want to refer the material, then I'll take it from writing few things. See, chapter number 1 means not IRF. I'll start from this contract only. Indian Contract Act 1872. Indian Contract Act 1872. What do you mean by the word contract? Contract consists of two things. By combination of those two things, we call it as a contract. One is an agreement and enforceability by law. If I combine all these two things, then we call it as a contract. Sir, what is agreement? What is enforceability by law? Sir, what is enforceability by law means? We entered into a contract, which is, see, the moment I call it as a contract, it is enforceable by law. We entered into a contract and I did not perform the contract, or I breached the contract, or you breached the contract, something has happened. Because of the party who broke the contract, I am suffering the loss or you are suffering the loss. Then you should be having a right to go to the court for the purpose of suing and receiving the compensation. That is what we call it as enforceability by law. The law has a power to enforce that on the other party. What is agreement? Agreement consists of three things. Agreement consists of three things. One is offer, second one is acceptance, third one is consideration. If you combine all these three things, then we call it as a agreement. But there is one more word for offer and acceptance. There is an offer and acceptance. We call it as promise. An accepted offer is called as a promise. Or if I want to put it in a equation form or statement form, contract is an agreement which is enforceability by law, and agreement is a accepted promise. Every promise and set of promises for which the consideration forming part of together is called as an agreement. And every accepted offer becomes a promise. If I say accepted offer with consideration agreement, only accepted offer, it is promise. And if it is enforceability by law, then contract. Then when I say contract, there are multiple types of contract. One is valid contract. What is valid contract?
It is enforceable.
The contract which contains all the essential elements of the valid contract. There are two parties, legal binding relationship should be there, and consent of the parties, free consent should be there. Again, competence of the parties, those things should be there. A contract which contains or which fulfills all the essentials of a valid contract are called as the valid contract. What is void contract? The contract which can't be enforceability by law. Sir, what do you mean by not enforceable? There are two types of void contracts. One is void contract from the beginning. Second one is subsequent. Sir, what do you mean by beginning? For example, any agreement, we call it as void agreement. Because from the beginning only it is not enforceable by law. Because it is not enforceable by law, we can't call it as a contract. But this void can be even contract also, because there is some subsequent not enforceable by law. Sir, what is the beginning? If I agree, if I and Madan agree that I'll bring moon into the earth. ನಿಂಗೆ ಹುಡುಗರು ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚಂದ್ರನ ಭೂಮಿಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟೋಟಲಿ ವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್. Void agreement, it is not a contract only, because from the beginning only it is void. It can't be enforceable by law. What is subsequent not enforceability? For example, me and Madan entered into a contract. You remember that painting example? Narendra Modi, we agreed. Samarthan, me. Samarthan is not there now. Madan. So we agreed that I'll paint your house on 10th. Today is 4th of August. Now on 7th, Modi, at the time of entering into the contract, there is offer, there is acceptance, there is consideration. It is enforceable by law, because painting is enforceable by law. But after entering into the contract, it has Narendra Modi has come and announced that no, it can't be. Nobody should paint the house for the next 1 year. That is why it becomes void. It can't be enforceable in the eyes of law. You remember one more example regarding that transportation of sugar from Bangalore to Chennai, that road get destroyed. At the time of entering into the contract, that is valid only. But after entering into the contract, because of the heavy rain, the road got destroyed, because of which we can't transport the sugar from one place to other place. That is why it is subsequent impossibility. We discussed that example in case of supervening of impossibility. You remember that supervening of impossibility? That is void agreement and void contract. Then comes voidable. What is voidable?
Can be enforced with the option of other party.
It is a contract. It is a contract which is enforceable at the option of one party, but not the option of the other party. So what do you mean by one party? The party who is an aggrieved party is called as that one party who can enforce. Sir, what do you mean by aggrieved party? The party who has suffered the loss because of the contract. Sir, what do you mean by suffering of loss? Any contract for which there is no free consent, then those type of contracts are called as voidable contract. Sir, what do you mean by there is no free consent? There are 5 types where the consent is not free. What are those 5 types? Coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, and mistake. But only in case of mistake, it is void contract. Unilateral mistake is void, bilateral mistake is voidable. Sorry, unilateral mistake is voidable, bilateral mistake is void. So you remove that, what is that mistake from this thing? If the consent is caused by coercion, what do you mean by coercion? It is a physical threatening or physical harming somebody is called as coercion. Undue influence is
There is in a position to.
when there are 2 parties or more than 2 parties, one party has a power to dominate the will of the other party. For example, master and servant, parents and children, and students and teacher. That in that case, I am trying to, for example, I am telling, if you don't sell your bike for 1 lakh rupees, which is worth 10 lakh rupees, I will fail you in the main board examination. That means we have a relationship so that I can dominate the will of the other party. In that case, he is not selling on a purposeful or willingness. He is just selling for the purpose of, he has no other option. That is what we call it as undue influence. Coercion, undue influence. Then fraud, willful mistake for the purpose of deceiving the other party to get the unjust advantage is called as fraud. Misrepresentation, believing the false statement and representing it as to be true, or he is not believing that it is true but is still telling it to be true. Misrepresentation, under both the cases, it is voidable agreement, where the party who has suffered the loss, in our example, he has suffered the loss of 9 lakh rupees, he can go to the court and cancel my contract. That is what we call it as voidable contract. Valid, void, and voidable. Then next type of contract is illegal, which is prohibited by law, which is called as illegal. For example, drugs, human trafficking, All those things are totally illegal agreements, not contracts. Illegal agreements. When I say illegal, they are not enforceable only. Illegal agreements are the contract regular. Then unenforceability. Why unenforceability? Because of some defect, technical defect in the contract becomes unenforceable. For example, Limitation Act. You remember that example? I gave 5 lakh rupees to Madan, so he is supposed to repay within 1 month. He did not repay within 1 month. So after that, 3 years also expired. Because of that, there is one act called as Limitation Act. After any debt which expires, which becomes due, and 3 years elapsed from that date, it can't be enforceable by the person. Earlier, it is valid contract only. I gave the money, I am collecting the interest, everything was there. Because it is a time barred debt, the time is barred, 3 years is barred. That is why I am not able to enforce in the court of law. But if he comes and gives voluntarily, there is no problem. I can collect it. That's what we call it as unenforceable contract. Because of some technical defect, the contract can't be enforceable. Then comes executed contract and executory contract. Executed and executory contract. Executed contract is the contract in which both the parties have completed their part of the performance. For example, we agreed, sir, you give the class, you told. I told, sir, you pay me 10,000 rupees of fees. You paid 10,000 rupees fee. I completed the classes. That means my part of the duty is over. Your part of the duty is also over. Then we call it as executed, completed contract. Then executory. Executory is like where either of the party, maybe one party performance is pending or both the party performance is pending. When I say executory, it is unilateral executory contract or bilateral executory contract. What is unilaterally? Unilateral, for example, you already paid 10,000 fees, but I did not complete the class yet. That means my part of the performance is pending. Executory, it is yet to be performed. Executory, unilateral. What is bilateral? You also did not pay the fees, I also did not complete the class. That is what executory bilateral contract, bilateral executory. Understood? Executed and executory. Then next type of contract? Express contract. The contract which is either by the words spoken or by the words written. I will give the class, you please come. I am advertising. I am putting the board outside. If you want, please come the class, you pay the fees, I will give the classes. That is what we call it as executory contract. Express contract, not executory. Then implied contract. What is implied contract? A contract which is entered between the parties without the word speaking or words written. For example, railway coolie. He comes and picks the luggage and immediately walks out of the railway station. And you are following him. That means you have impliedly accepted the offer made by the coolie. The moment he wears the red coat and that one badge of the coolie person, it is as good as his duty is to perform that only. And if you are not speaking or if you are not going against, so you don't pick my luggage, then it is as good as offer has come, acceptance has come, there is some consideration, then it is what we call as implied contract. Valid, void, voidable, illegal agreement, and unenforceable. Executed, unilateral executory, bilateral executory, express and implied. Is that the contracts? Are there any other contracts? Quasi contract and tacit contract. What is quasi contract? The contract which is like a contract, but does not contain all the essential elements of a valid contract. Sir, what do you mean by essential elements of a valid contract? We will discuss that first, then we will come to this quasi contract. For the purpose of calling it to be contract, yes, we said offer should be there, acceptance should be there, consideration should be there. All the combined together we call it as agreement, enforceable by law. Both those two combined together we call it as contract. Yes, sir, all these things should be there. It is as per the Companies Act. But there are some other 5 elements also, which has to be fulfilled for the purpose of becoming it a contract. There are totally 10 essential elements of a valid contract. 2 parties should be there. What do you mean by 2 parties? See, I can't contract by myself. If I do that, we call it as Nityananda, nothing else. Me talking to me and talking to me. So that is what Nityananda. So at least 2 parties should be there. I am not telling only 2, at least 2. Because you 10 people are there, I am 1 person is there. We contracted, more than 2 people are there. Then 2 parties is compulsory. Then free consent should be there. What is free consent? Just now we discussed. Any consent which is not caused by those 5 elements: undue influence, coercion, mistake, misrepresentation, and fraud. Then it is said to be free consent. I wanted to sell, you wanted to buy. That means my intention also was to sell. Your intention also is to buy. Both the combined together we call it as free consent. I am not under influence of somebody. You are also not under influence of somebody. So free consent is there. That is to be there. Without that, we don't call it as a essential element of a valid contract. Then Competence of parties. Sir, what is competence of parties? Any party who fulfills these three conditions is called as competent party. Any party who fulfills these three conditions are called as competent party. Sir, what are those three conditions? He should be a major. What do you mean by the major? The major means the person who has attained the age of 18 years is called as a major person. Any person who is trying to enter the contract should be a major. Then second one, sound mind, unsound Allah. He should not be unsound mind or sound mind. What do you mean by sound mind or should not be unsound mind? But whenever the seller offers something, the buyer should understand same thing in the same sense. Meeting of the minds we call it as. Unsound mind means I speak something, you understand something. That is we call it as unsound mind. You are not in a normal position. If whatever I am telling, if you understand the same thing in the same sense, then it is sound minded. Sound minded. Then not disqualified by the law. What is not disqualified by the law? No court, no tribunal, no government has disqualified him from entering into any contract. For example, I given an example. You remember our IAS, IFS officers, Indian Foreign Service officers who are working abroad, like embassies, ambassadors of India. UPSC exam 24 cadres ಇದೆ. Out of the 24 cadre, one cadre is IFS, Indian Foreign Service. We call it as ambassadors. So they are representing our country in a foreign country. Nam citizens ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರ ಒಂದು ಕನ್ಸುಲೇಟ್ ಇರ್ತೈತೆ. US embassy in India it is there the same way. So they are not permitted to enter into any contract in those countries. And the foreign consulates, for example, US ambassador, Russia ambassador who are having office in India, they should also not enter into any contract because their main motto is to protect the country, not to do the business here. That is why they are disqualified by the law. Any party who is not disqualified, any party who is sound mind, and any party who is major, all the three party we call it as a competent party to enter into the contract. If these three conditions are there, then he is a competent party to enter into the contract. Two parties, free consent, and the competence of parties. Then the meaning should be certain. You can't say I wanted to sell oil. Oh, which oil? Palm oil, sunflower oil, coconut oil, what oil? You be certain. You better be certain. That's what we got. The meaning should be certain. So, fourth one. Next one is possibility of performance. Sir, what do you mean by possibility of performance? You should not enter into any contract which is impossible to perform. For example, bringing the moon to sun, conversion of sand into gold. That is totally impossible. That is why these five things should be compulsory there to there. Then comes legal relation should be, intention is to create the legal relationship. That means it will not cover domestic relationship. It will not cover social agreement and domestic agreement. What is that? Agreement between husband and wife. Exception is there. That registered and written. You remember that exception is there. Except that it domestic arrangement and social arrangements are not covered here. That is excluded. That is what we call it as intention to create the legal relationship. Then comes lawful consideration and lawful object. You should not try to enter into the contract to kill somebody because the object for which you are entering into the contract it is totally unlawful. And consideration. Sir, you do the class, you will give 20 grams of drugs in case of fees. No, that is also consideration also illegal. The consideration should be also be legal. The object should also be legal. Both the things should be legal. Then consideration. Without consideration, we don't call it as a contract. I am not telling consideration should be fair value. I am telling consideration should be there. Adequacy of the consideration is not an important requirement, but the presence of consideration is the essential element of a valid contract. Right? These are the few essential elements of a valid contract. If these things are there, then only we call it as valid contract. First we discussed, right? Valid contract means any contract which contains all these following essential elements. So then comes quasi contract. Again, I am continuing to the last type of contract. What is quasi contract? A contract which is not consisting of these essential elements of a valid contract. That means there is no offer, there is no acceptance, but because of the imposition by the law, they create a contract. For example, I lost my wallet somewhere, and somebody found it out. Somebody found it out. Now, did I offer him that telling that I lose my wallet here tomorrow, you please pick it up and give it to me? Is there any offer and acceptance? Why would I tell him and lose the wallet? That is totally wrong. That is not possible. That means because he is obtained that wallet, law says you should not try to make profit out of my loss. you should try to get back the wallet to the original owner. Is there any offer? Is there any acceptance? No, no, nothing is there. But because of the imposition of the law, there comes to be a contract. Those type of contracts are called as quasi-contract, like a contract, but they are not contracts. Resembles like contracts. Then tacit contract. What is tacit contract? A contract which is entered silently. Silently. For example, ATM machine. You go to the ATM machine, insert your ATM card, pin, taka, 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 then get the money, get out. ATM is not speaking anything. You are not offering anything, they are not accepting anything. If you have the money, they will immediately you can withdraw it and you can go away. That is what we call it as the tacit contract. Then comes e-contract. The contract which is entered using the electronic means. Thank you. Janasagara. Janasagara. Revision. So the contract which is entered using the what is that, computer and internet means, computer resources and internet means, we call it as e-contract. Understood? That's it. No need of anything extra. Is there any extra type of contract? Nothing there. Huh? Kinds of offer. Okay, we will discuss that. Contracts is understood. Anything can become can come for 2 to 4 marks. If they ask what is the difference between valid contract and void contract, void and voidable, they might ask anything. If they ask this type of contract, maybe in definition form, they'll ask 2 contracts. Define valid and they'll not ask valid. Define voidable and void contract. 4 marks, two each if they ask. If not, they might not ask also. That is very scenario. Then comes when I say offer, there should be an offer and the other party should accept it. Then only we call it as a promise. If there is a consideration agreement. Sir, what do you mean by offer? Offer means when I express my willingness to do something or abstain from doing something. For example, I'm telling I want to sell my bike. That means I'm expressing my willingness to do something. What is abstain from something? It is not doing something. For example, I wanted to start the classes just beside this building. This management told you please don't start the class. I'll give you 10 lakh rupees as a non-compete this thing. That means I'm getting, it is a contract for not doing something. When I express my willingness to do something or not to do something, for which there is some consideration. Consideration part, even if you leave it also. Void ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. You will see that question if possible. I think I did not see that question. What is the context? ಹೌದಾ ಮೇಬಿ ಕಾಪಿ ಪೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟೇನು
Sir, agreement is this chain of trade is void of legal other exceptions is
Okay, that is
specific limits.
ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಗುಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. Now it is valid. We will see that question and we will discuss whether it is void or valid. ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಇರೋ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ? That's okay. We will see that question. Don't bring that question now to it. What is it? Discuss it. Offer. When a party expresses his willingness to do something or to not to do something, then it is said to be offer is made. When the other party accepts it, then offer is said to be accepted. When I say offer, offer can be of 5 types. Offer can be of 5 types. One is general offer, an offer which is given for everybody. If you have the money, you can accept it. If you have the money, you can accept it. If you have the money, you can accept it. It is not like some specific person. That is why we call it as general offer. Sometimes we even call it as open offer. It is open for everybody. Then comes specific offer. The offer made specifically for a person. For example, I wanted to sell my car for mother. That is what we call it as specific offer. I wanted to sell my car for 5 lakh. If you have 5 lakh, bring that and get the money, get the car. Again, you anybody has the money, you can get that car by way of this thing, general and specific offer. Then comes the standing offer. What is standing offer? Whenever I offer something for a particular period of time, I want to sell my car for 5 lakh. If anybody has the money, you should accept the offer within 5 days. For example, Big Billion Days. Now it is going on freedom sale, Amazon freedom sale, and there also it is being done. That means the offer of that discounted price is valid only for few days, maybe 5 days, maybe 10 days. It is there. When the offer is standing for a period of time, then we call it as what is that? Hmm? Standing offer. Standing offer. One is general, specific, standing offer. Then comes two other things. What are those two other things? One is cross offer, then counter offer. What is cross offer? Cross offer. The offer is also making an offer. The acceptor is also making an offer without knowing that the other party is making an offer. It's called as cross offer. Cross. That means I am sending a post to Madan. I want to sell my car on 14th only. With the Madan does not know that I sent a telegram. The Madan also sent the same one telegram that I wanted to buy your car. That means we both are making an offer without knowing that I made an offer or the other party has made an offer. We call it as cross offer. What is counter offer? Whenever the offer, whenever the original offer which is made, for example, I told I'll sell my car at 5 lakh rupees. Madan said, no sir, 5 lakh rupees is too high. I can buy at 3.5 lakh rupees. That means whatever the offer I made, he rejected it and he made one more offer. Sir, I want to buy your car at 3.5. If I'm okay at 3.5, then I can say, okay, then it is said to be accepted. Then if I say, no, 3.5 is too low, I can come to 4.7. That means I am rejecting the 3.5 offer and I am making one more offer to him. Counter offer means where the original offer is cancelled and the new offer is being made. Counter to counter. If you make one thing, I make one thing. The moment it is a counter offer, original offer stands to get cancelled. That means he is not ready to get it for 5 lakh. That means it is cancelled over. He made one more offer. If I am okay for that 3.5, I should accept. If not, I should cancel and I should make one more offer. Until unless it is being concluded. Okay, I came to 4, he also came to 4, then it is over. Then it is said to be the party who suggested that 4 is said to made an offer. The party who has accepted that 4 is said to be accepted. For example, I said 4.7, 3.7. I said 4.2. He said 4. He said 4. So I want to buy your car at 4. Then I said okay. That means he offered to me to buy my car at 4 lakh. Then I accepted that offer. He said 4. I said 4.1. He said okay. That means I offered my car to be sold at 4.1. He accepted that to buy at 4.1. Understanding the difference? Any party who makes and the party who agrees, that may differ from in case of counter offer. In reality, 90% of the cases are always counter offer only. Because nobody is going to buy at the same price which is being discussed. Even you go to vegetables market, they say 40 rupees per kilo tomato. Ali 20 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ನೀನು 40 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಹಾಕ್ತಿ 25 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು 1 ಕಿಲೋ ಕೊಡು. That means you are making one more offer to him. If he is okay, he'll accept that offer, 25 rupees. That is counter offer. 5 types of offer. It is important for examination. Sometimes it is being asked. Essential elements of also may be asked. Maybe. Very rare. One is, what is it? General offer, specific offer, specified offer, cross offer and counter offer. Now comes next. Essentials of a valid offer. What are the essentials of a valid offer? I don't think I have to revise that. I can just valid offer 30. Essentials of a valid offer 23. The offer must be capable of creating the legal. See, all the essentials of a valid contract. 80% of those essential elements will come to here also. They come to acceptance also. They come to even for consideration also. For example, first one, if you see, it must be capable of creating the legal relationship. That means if you are offering to kill somebody, then it will not create the legal relationship. That is first point. It must be capable of creating the legal relationship. Second one, offer should be certain. For example, I wanted to sell my Hyundai Verna car, white color, of 2022 model. Very specific, certain offer. It can't be vague. I have 3 cars: Hyundai Verna, Mercedes Benz, and Alto 800. I want to sell my car, not specific. Because the other party might think Alto, other party might think Hyundai Verna, other party might think Mercedes also. If I say Hyundai Verna 2022 model, white color, then it is very specific. It is certain. When I say offer is complete when you communicate to the other party. It is not like I want to sell my car for 5 lakh. If you're talking to yourself, it is not an offer. You should tell it to the other party to whom you want to sell. Is it a specific offer? Go and communicate to the specific person. If it is general offer, tell it to everybody. Give the call for a tender quotation or give the advertisement. Something you do it. Go for action. Do something. General offer, something like that. It has to be communicated. And must be it must be made with a view to obtaining the assent of the other party. It is not just like for the purpose of showcasing, you should not do it. Your intention is to sell that, for that you should obtain the consent. Whenever you have seen that Shark Tank, they go mainly for the purpose of funding, getting the funding. Their what is that motto is to get the funding. That is how your motto should also be there in case of contract. And it may be conditional also. What do you mean by conditional? I can say, I want to sell my car for 5 lakh. If you want that car, pay me 2 lakh rupees on immediate phone pay. 3 lakh rupees, whenever you take the delivery, you can pay that 3 lakh rupees. That means I'm putting a condition to pay 2 lakh in advance. Yes, offer can be conditional, but acceptance cannot be conditional. Acceptance should be unconditional and unqualified. We will discuss that again. And offer should not contain the term, the non-compliance of which should amount to acceptance. It is like, I want to sell my car for 5 lakh rupees. If you don't reply within 5 minutes, I consider that you accepted that offer. No, you should not contain these clauses. How can you do that? Then offer can be express implied, anything can be there. Understood essential elements of a valid offer? You see, whenever you see, this point is same with respect to valid contract. This is also same. Then offer may be either specific or general, it may be express or implied. Some 5 points you can anyway manage that. If you just read it, you can manage in acceptance also, they are there. Acceptance should be made by the party whom the offer is made. Acceptance should be either implied or acceptance express, or in a specified acceptance. Condition should be complied. Those things are there. This is essential elements of a valid offer. Then comes the next concept is invitation to offer. And offer. What is offer? Offer means when a party expresses his willingness to do something or not to do something. But what is invitation to offer? I am not making an offer. I am giving an opportunity or window for you to come and offer me. It is like I am telling I have some mangoes. I have some farm, 10 acres of mango farm. If you want the mango, you should come and ask. I am putting a name board. 10 acres of mango farm and mangoes are there in just 5 kilometers. I'm not telling, I'm selling that. If you want that, you please come and offer. So I want 5 kg. Then I'll say, okay, if I'm okay, I'll accept that. Invitation to offer is like just a presentment. It is like just like the showcase. It is not like the actual offer. Invitation to offer is made to the other party with a view to induce the other party. Induce means tempt the other party to make him the offer to this party. That's what we call it as invitation to offer. Offer and invitation to offer. And mere statement of the price is not the offer. For example, I have a car worth 10 lakh rupees. If I just say that, it is not does not mean that I am offering to sell my car. It's just a statement of price. I am telling it. This building is worth 20 crore rupees. Oh, is it? I am not selling that. I am not offering. It is. I am just telling that statement. You can read that. That's it. Sufficient.
Model ಎಷ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಲ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಏನಿದೆ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್
ನಾನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಏನು ಬರ್ದಿತ್ತು
ನಾನು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್
ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ಮೇ ಬಿ PDF ಇರಬೇಕು. PDF ಇತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ತೆಗೆದು ನೋಡೋದು. ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಳು. ಈಗ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್. ಈಗ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಗೇನ್ 10-15 minutes ಅಗೇನ್ ಗಾನ್. Then comes acceptance. What is acceptance? When the party makes an offer, the other party signifies his acceptance or willingness. Then it is said to be offer is said to be accepted. which is accepted proposal becomes promise. Promise plus dash equal to agreement. Promise plus dash equal to agreement. Consideration equal to agreement, because promise means offer and acceptance both are there. Offer acceptance plus consideration equal to agreement. Promise plus dash equal to contract. Legal enforceable. Then we call it as contract. Then again, essential elements of a valid acceptance also there. Acceptance can be given only by the person to whom the offer was made. That means if I want to, in case of specific offer I'm telling, if I want to sell my car to Madan, Madan only should accept that, give his acceptance. It is not like the home car should give the acceptance. Then acceptance must be absolute and unqualified. Sir, when I say I want to sell my car for 5 lakh, you should accept it in the same way. If you're telling, no sir, I can buy it only 4 lakh, you are not accepting, you are making counter offer now. Now the party who is accepting, he should accept by absolute and unqualified. What is absolute? 100%. Unqualified means without modifying the original offer. Then unqualified and absolute. The acceptance must be communicated. Whenever you accept the test, I want to buy your car, you have to communicate to the offerer. Then only acceptance is complete. Then acceptance in the prescribed form. Acceptance must be in the prescribed mode. What do you mean by prescribed mode? When I say, if you want to buy my car, you have to give the reply by mail. That is not prescribed mode. The mode is prescribed. Or you have to call me. You have to send a WhatsApp message or something like that. The mode should be prescribed. How you are going to accept it. Then time. What is the time?
So it's not it is what.
It is not. It is, the contract is only over. If I say, if you want to buy my car, you have to accept by way of mail. If you don't accept that, that means you are not accepted the car.
And what's the purpose?
Then it is not enforceable. It is up to me. I can sell or I cannot sell. He cannot come to the court and tell that sir, I have given the acceptance by of this. That is why he should give the car. Yes, it is voidable because it is the acceptance should be in the prescribed mode, and the prescribed mode condition is not fulfilled by the acceptor. That is why it is voidable. Then time, given time. For example, you have to accept within 5 days, 4 days, 3 days. You should give the time. And you cannot tell that negative like that means non-acceptance is called no reply within the time is equal to acceptance. You can't say that. You can use the other phrase also. If you don't accept, it is said to be cancelled. If you don't reply, it is said to be cancelled. If you don't reply, it is said to be accepted. No, you can't use that. Mere silence is not equal to acceptance. Here only it is there. Mere silence is not equal to acceptance.
But if it is explicitly written in the contract that if you don't answer, then I'll consider it as an accident.
No. See that you can put any condition. There is one exception. That's okay. We'll discuss that. If you tell that if you don't accept within 5 minutes, it is said to be if you don't reply within 5 minutes by way of mail, it is said to be accepted. Then aren't you exploiting the other party?
But the agreed upon it. It's not like
See, if it is agreed, acceptance is already done. I'm telling about the acceptance should be in the prescribed mode and prescribed time. If non-reply is not meant to be accepted, non-reply may be considered as rejected, but non-reply is not accepted. But there is only one exception here. What is that exception?
Previous
If because of the previous conduct, if it happened like, for example, last time the acceptor only told, if I don't reply within 5 days, then it's said to be accepted. I bought that car. Previous conduct has put something in the offerer mind that the same act done by the same thing, because in the current time also I am doing the same. I am assuming the same thing. In that case, the mere silence is said to be accepted. In that case, previous conduct is there. The offer in previous conduct that yes, silence is said to be accepted, then it is said to be accepted. Acceptance must be conduct or implied acceptance. Both things can be there. That's it. These are the essentials of a valid acceptance, offer acceptance. Then communication of offer and acceptance. When it is complete, when I make an offer, when it comes to the knowledge of the acceptor, the offer is complete. I wanted to sell my car to Madan. When the Madan comes to know that the Veeraj is trying to sell the car at 5 lakh rupees, one day Verna, 22 model, then the offer is complete. When the acceptance is complete, The acceptance has to be seen in two point of view. One is from my party point of view, one is from the other party point of view. For example, if I take the first party, for example, Viraj wanted to sell, Madan wanted to buy her. Now, I told I want to sell my car. The moment it comes to the knowledge of Madan, then offer is complete. Communication of offer is complete. Sir, I sent a post, but it has not reached the Madan. Then it is not complete. Madan has received the post, opened it, read it, understood it. Then only it is said to be offer is complete. The other part, yes, Madan said, I want to buy that. He is said to be accepted. But when acceptance is complete should be seen from two party point of view. One is the Viraj point of view, one is the Madan point of view. Consider it is sent by way of post. Post. How does the post work? The moment you deliver the post card to the postman or post office, and they give a slip, for example, the payment slip and acknowledgement reference number, ARM. You come out, you go after 5 minutes to the same post, give that receipt. They will not give the post to you because post is already addressed and registered. It has to go to the destination only. It will not again given back to you. That means you don't have any power to revoke that. With respect to the acceptor, the moment it is put in the course of action, that it is out of the power of the acceptor to revoke that. Acceptor does not have any power to revoke that. Then the acceptance is communicated with respect to the acceptor point of view. But when does I come to know? Whenever I receive that, whenever I open that, that means when it comes to the knowledge of Viraj, then only it is complete. Is that okay? Acceptance, communication of acceptance by act of those things. Communication by act would include any expression of words, whether written or oral. Those things, okay. Acceptance must be omission or do something. Acceptance by conduct, okay. When acceptance is complete with respect to the proposer, with respect to the acceptor, two things are there. Just now we discussed it. And this special case is there. What is that? The special case is like acceptance by way of telephone. What is telephone? I told you how to call me and give the acceptance. He called me and he is telling, okay, I want to buy your car. But because of some network issue, the call got disconnected. The offerer did not understand what he told. In that case, it is not said to be that acceptance is completed. The acceptor again has to call to the offerer, then complete that, yes, I am buying that car. That means if it is there is a call disconnection because of some network issue, all those things, then it has to be again, what is it? Called back by the acceptor, and it has to be clearly communicated that the offer has been accepted. Special condition also, okay. They might put any condition.
Offer may be conditional, but acceptance should not be conditional.
Offer can be conditional. You can put pay me 2 lakh rupees now, then you can pay the remaining things. Acceptance can be the condition. You can't say that I want to buy only your car tires, I want to buy only seats, I want to give only 5 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees out of 5 lakh. No, you can't put any condition. It has to be absolute. You can't modify anything by the offer. Then comes revocation of offer. What is revocation of offer? And acceptance. Offer and acceptance, both things are there. I told Madan I want to sell my car for 5 lakh. Later I changed my mind and I wanted to revoke my offer. Can I revoke that offer? Yes, the offer can be revoked. But before the mother gives his acceptance, I have to revoke that offer. Is it possible? Yes, before the acceptance is given by the acceptor. Can the acceptance be revoked? Yes, it can also be revoked. When? Before it comes to the knowledge of the offerer. That means before it is communicated to the offerer that I am accepted, you have to revoke that. Offer can be revoked before the acceptance. The acceptance can be revoked before it is communicated to the offer. Now you tell me, the post reached. I wanted to sell my car. I told to Madan, I sent a post. Madan received the post. He did not read it yet. Before reading, I called him. Say, if you have received any post, ignore it. I don't want to sell my car. Then is it said to be offer is revoked? Yes, because it has not yet come to the knowledge of the party. It is not only receiving, it has to be read and understood. He already read and understood. Later I called him. It is said to be revoked? No. When it is communicated, offer is complete. When the offer is complete? When it is reached to the other party, comes to the knowledge of the other party, then it is complete. That means offer is done. But acceptance, what? He has to express his willingness. Before he gives that acceptance, he can revoke any offer. Even it has come to the knowledge of the other party, it doesn't matter. Before it is accepted by the acceptor, it has to be revoked. Then post we discussed, telephone also we discussed. How can you revoke the offer? By lapse of time. What do you mean by lapse of time? I gave you 5 days. If you want to buy the car, you reply within 5 days. If you don't reply within didn't reply within 5 days, that means offer is revoked because time is completed. By non-fulfillment of the condition precedent. What is precedent? Specified. I told you want to accept, pay me 2 lakh rupees DD. No DD, no acceptance. That is what we call it as offer is revoked. By death or insanity, no need to explain again. By counter offer. What do you mean by counter offer? The moment he makes the counter offer, my offer is already lapsed. That's what we call it as this one. Original offer is lapsed. Then by non-acceptance of the offer, according to the prescribed or usual mode. If there is any prescribed mode, that has to be accepted by that mode. If there is no mode prescribed, then usual mode, how the transactions are being accepted in that category, that has to be accepted. If it is not fulfilling that, then it is said to be revoked. Then subsequent illegality. You entered into, you offered something, but later it has become illegal. That is what unit number 1.
Last example.
Hmm?
Subsequent illegality.
Hmm.
Last subsequent illegality. Your question. Course of
ಮುಂದೆ ಸಬ್ಸಿಕ್ವೆಂಟ್ illegality ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಬೇಕು. Okay. For example, a real example I can give. You remember 2016 November 8? What is it? Demonetization of the 1,000 rupees and 500 rupees old notes. That means when you agreed that I will transfer these many 500 notes after January 1, 2017, you entered when? In May only we have entered the contract. I will give this many 1,000 and this many 500 rupees note. At the time of contract entered, it is valid only because at the time May it is valid only. But after you entered, later in November it has become illegal. Any party who is dealing in that old currency note, that is said to be illegal. That is punishable, crime, criminal offense. These type of things can be subsequent illegality. Or there is one product, for example, cigarette. You contracted to sell the cigarette, but cigarette is totally banned by the government. After you enter the contract, there is also subsequent illegality. I'll give 2 minutes to please go through that and let me know if you have any doubts. At the end of the class, 2 ಗಂಟೆ. Please go through it first.
ಇವಾಗ ರಿವೋಕೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಲೆಟರ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ
Revocation of what?
ಆಫರ್
Revocation of offer. Okay.
ಇವಾಗ ಲೆಟರ್ ಬರೋ ಮುಂಚೆ ಬಂದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಲೆಟರ್ ಬಂದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ನು ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನಾನು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಗುಡ್ ಡೀಲ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅಂತ
Then it will be called as breach of contract. Breach.
ಅವಾಗ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟರ್ ಅವನ ಮೇಲೆ ಸೂ ಮಾಡೋದು
ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೋ ಟು ದ ಕೋರ್ಟ್. ನಾ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ರಿವೋಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೋ ಟು ದ ಕೋರ್ಟ್.
So, if in an offer, the prescribed mode is mentioned for acceptance. For counter offer also, should we follow that mode or in any mode?
Counter offer means I am making offer. You told if you want to accept my offer at 5 lakh rupees, you have to send me deed of 2 lakh. I told no, I don't want to accept buy at 5 lakh. I want to buy 4.5 lakh. That means whatever you told, that is totally wide. I did not prescribe anything like prescribed no. That's okay. It is up to the offerer.
When the acceptor makes conditional offer,
When the acceptor makes conditional offer,
is
counter offer. Conditional acceptance, not offer. Overview, not in depth. Shall we continue? Then comes unit number 2, consideration. What is consideration? Something in return. In Latin term we call it as quid pro quo. Something in return is called as consideration. When I say every contract, every offer is there, if there is any offer and acceptance without any consideration, we don't call it as a valid agreement. It is not a valid agreement. For the purpose of it to be agreement, then it has to be having some valid consideration. I am not telling the adequacy of consideration. I sold 1 lakh rupees worth of mobile for 1 rupee. That's okay. But consideration should be there. Maybe 1 rupee, maybe 10 crore rupees, it doesn't matter. Presence of consideration is important. So, consideration means quid pro quo, then something in return. Consideration can be cash as well as kind also. Consideration can be received for doing something or for not doing something, abstain from something. That's what we discussed. For non-compete also, for doing the business also. This is important. Consideration must be at the desire of the promiser. What do you mean by at the desire of the promiser? Promiser is also called as offerer. Promiser is also called as offerer. When I say offerer, if you say, sir, why can't it be at the option of the promisee or offeree? That means I told 5 lakh rupees that I am offerer. Other party says 4.5. That means it is counter offer. Counter offer means original offer is totally gone. That is why the consideration should be at the option of the offerer or promiser. Must be at the desire. Whatever the desire of the offerer was there, then the consideration should flow from that point of view. And the consideration can come from the promisee or any other person. Either you can, for example, if I say, if you want to join for the class, you have to pay 50,000 rupees as the class fees. That means fees is 50,000. It is as per my desire. Either you can pay the fees, your parents also can pay the fees. That I don't have any problem. That is what we call it as consideration may move from promisee or any other third party. And consideration may be past, present, or future. That means, for example, somebody paid 50,000 for intermediate classes, but they failed in foundation. He told us that's okay. I don't want the refund. You keep it. Whenever I complete this foundation, I'll join here only. That means when it joins, the whatever the fees he has to give, he has already given past consideration. I joined intermediate now. I give 50,000 now only. Present consideration. I am joining now. I am telling I will give it in the future. Sir, ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ದುಡ್ಡಿಲ್ಲ ನಾ ಯಾವಾಗ ಸಿ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಸಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮನಿ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ದೇರ್ these things just now we discussed. Consideration need not be adequate. Yes, fair value of the goods and services is not required, but consideration should be there. Performance of what one is legally bound to perform. What is it? I agreed to give the class, you agreed to give the fees. For me, the fees is consideration. For you, the class is consideration. So whatever somebody is legally bound to perform, that has to be done. Consideration must be real and not illusionary. What do you mean by must be real and not illusionary? You see, these babas will do it right. Close your eyes. You are reaching to this destination. Think that you are talking to. So it is we call it as illusionary. The consideration should not be like this. You just think that you become a crorepati. I gave 1 lakh rupees. No, you give the real consideration. Either by the bank, either by something. You have to give it cash. And consideration must not be unlawful, immoral, or opposite to the public policy. What is unlawful and immoral? For example, if you take class for me, for example, Madan brother is telling, if you take class for my brother, anybody who you say, I'll destroy their house. That is what your consideration. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೈ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆ ಬೀಳಿಸ್ತಾನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. That is not unlawful, immoral, and opposite to the public policy. What is opposite to the public policy? Any money you pay should not be for some specific activities. Those things are there in unit number 3. What is opposite to public policy? See, police, all those people are there. What is their duty? As per Constitution of India, Article 14, everybody is equal before the law. Richer, poor, irrespective of the caste, irrespective of the color, irrespective of the gender, everybody is equal before the law. That is what Constitution says. But if somebody has the money, the police will turn to their side. That is not right. That is opposite to the public policy. If those people giving some 10 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees, that consideration is totally opposite to the public policy. Or you are giving some 10 lakh rupees to get the transfer from one place to other place to a politician. That is offer is there, acceptance is there, but the consideration is opposite to the public policy. So those opposite public policy should not be there. Now comes very important topic here, sued by a third party to the contract. We call it as mainly doctrine of privity of contract. What is doctrine of privity of contract? Whenever contract is there, for example, I am assuming that few people are major, few people are not, few people are less, consider everybody is major. We agreed, you signed the application form, we also give that application form. Application form is in my letterhead only, Success Edge Academy and iProledge Academy. That means we are offering, you are accepting. That means two parties, Success Edge and the Madan, for example. I did not take the class. Can Madan's parents come and sue the put the case and file the case in the court? Moral wise it is they can, but legally they cannot. Legally only party to the contract can go to the court and file a case or police station. That is what we call it as doctrine of privity of contract. A third party to the contract is not allowed, but third party to the consideration is allowed. If you can't pay the fees, let your parents pay the fees. But if you are a major, then any breach in the contract should be sued by this person only. That is what doctrine of privity of contract. Where they say a stranger to a consideration is allowed, but the stranger to a contract is not allowed. This is what doctrine of privity of contract. But there are certain exceptions for that. What are the exceptions? Even the third party is also allowed for the contract. party to contract can be there. For example, A and B are there. They agreed for one contract. Now C can come and be the enforce the rights with respect to either B or A. There are certain we call it as exception. Generally, C should not be allowed to do anything, enter into the contract. But exceptions are there. One is in case of trust. What is in case of trust? For example, you remember, you know, there's a concept called as will writing. Will means their property should go to which person? The people will write the will. So, one rich person is there, or consider any person, wrote a will. Because his son is a minor, he does not want to transfer that. He formed a trust and appointed a trustee. See, you hold this property till my son attains the age of 18. The moment he gets 18, then you have to transfer the entire property to him. In that case, is the son signed anywhere? No. There's a contract between the trustee and the party. Now, the party died later. Even the son is not the party to the contract. They can come and enforce that right. In case of trust, it is possible. In case of family settlement, what is in case of family settlement? For example, you know there's a concept called as HUF, Hindu undivided family. There will be some common resources. Karta will be the head, in which where they say whatever the business you do, you can keep it the money, but 20% should be put it in the common fund. Sir, what is that common fund? That common fund is used for the purpose of what is that? Marriage of all the granddaughters and grandsons. It is being kept. For example, some 10 crore rupees kept. Now, after some 2-3 years, they divided. HUF has been divided. Now, the son and daughter will go to different families now. Those persons who are, even though they are not the party to the contract, they can come and enforce that. In case of family settlement, that is possible. In case of certain marriage contracts or arrangements, that can be done, no need to this thing. In case of assignment of a contract, what do you mean by assignment of the contract? For example, I can give my practical example only. One of my uncle, far relative uncle, has played the cards, speed, and last done some 2 crore rupees of debt. Speed and 2 crore rupees salam alaikum. Then my his brother is also there. He has done some around 10 lakh rupees. Younger brother. Elder brother is 2 crore. Younger brother is still now developing 10 lakh rupees. First, younger brother only has a scam has come out. Then his father told, even the father is not the party to the contract, the younger brother borrowed, the other party gave. The father acknowledged that, okay, I will give the 10 lakh rupees. Please leave it. Then also it is possible. In case of assignment of a contract, that means son is assigning to the father, you please pay the 10 lakh rupees. That's what it is allowed. Then in case of a covenant running with the land, covenant means condition. Covenant means condition. For example, you remember the 10 acres land, 1 acre is kept for some residential purpose, should not be for commercial purpose, all those things. Okay, one party sold 10 acres of land to party B, party A sold to party B. Out of which party A told to party B, see, you can use it for 9 acres for whatever the purpose you want, but don't use this 1 acre for some, what is that, commercial purposes. It should be used only for agriculture. And it is to be managed by my son only, or it has to be transferred to my son, something they have agreed. Later, when the A died, they started doing commercial activity only for the whole 10 acres of land. That is not possible because there is already a condition running with the land. Even though the son is not the party to the contract, they can go to the court and sue it when there is a condition running with the land. Then contracts are entered into through an agent. Agent is just an extension of the principal only. Any contract entered by the agent on behalf of the principal is valid contract. Even the third party agent is not the party to the contract, they can enter into the contract. Understood? Consideration. Consideration. What is the consideration? Third party to contract is not valid, but under certain exceptions it is valid. In case of trust, family settlement, arrangement, acknowledgement. What do we call it as acknowledgement? Assignment, then covenant running with the land, and through agent. Some 6-7 points are okay. This is important. 7 marks or 6 marks question can come on this. Then see, as we said, any contract without consideration is not at all a contract. But there are certain cases where without consideration also it is considered as valid contract. First one is natural love and affection. See, for everything it has to be in writing. Generally, agreement without consideration is void, but some exceptions are there. Agreement, though made without consideration, is still valid. Exceptions. Natural love and affection. For it to be there, it must be in written. It must be registered agreement. What is this written? In the writing format, not the oral one. Registered means you know that stamp paper, bond paper will be there, some 20 rupees, 30 rupees. It has to be, if you print it, if you write it on that paper, then it is to be registered. In case of natural love and affection, it is enforceable without contract also, but it has to be in writing and registered. Then compensation for past voluntary service. See, if people are not having any money, you are roaming on, consider Arogya is roaming on some roads. Then I saw his talent, not this talent, intellectual talent, and bought him and gave the class. He became the CA later. At that time, he did not have the money. He came later. Sir, ನೀವು ಹಿಂಗ ನಾನು ಗುರುತಿಸಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಂಗೆ ಈ ಸ್ಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೀನಿ ಈಗ. You take this 10 lakh rupees as a gratitude. Yes, there's a contract. One is offering 10 lakh, one is accepting. I'm not giving anything in return now because I have done some voluntary services in the past. That also it is valid. Promise to pay time bound debt also, that is also valid because time bound debt means the contract is already over, unenforceable contract. Then agency, because agent is just an extension. Then completed gift. What is completed gift? Gift already given, not yet to be given. Any gift given, do you ask anything in return? Then bailment and charity. You remember these words? We will discuss in further units. Bailment, charity, agency, all those things. This is about unit number 2. Simple, yet 2 important questions. This one also important. Agreement without consideration is valid. Two, remember this. 2 questions. One is third party to contract is invalid except those situations. Contract without consideration or agreement without consideration is void except these situations. ಎರಡು ಗಂಟೆ
ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ
ಹೋದ್ರಾ
ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು 4 ಜನ ಹುಡುಗರು.
The people who are studied, prepared, they are telling ಮತ್ತೆ again ನಾಳೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ಓದಲಿಕ್ಕೆ.
Promises to pay debts. Promise ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ
ಅಲ್ಲೋ 3 ವರ್ಷದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ. 3 ವರ್ಷದೊಳಗಡೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಟೈಮ್ ಬಾರ್ಡ್ ಡೆಟ್. ಅವ್ನು ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮೊದಲು, ಬಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅವಾಗ. Now he paid it. Then it is, see, because he paid, it is a new contract now. Because a contract unenforceable agate ಈಗ. He is offering 10 lakh rupees. I am accepting it. For which I am giving anything? No, because it is already done earlier, time bound debt. That is why it is valid.
ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 3 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ 4th ಇಯರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾನು 6 months ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಆಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನೀವು ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಮಂತ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ 5 lakh ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ, 5 lakh ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ನಿಗೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
ಇಲ್ಲ 5 lakh rupees ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಟಿಮೇಟ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅದೇನೋ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ you did not break anything. You are giving something out of morality. That's it. There is no validity now. Moral ಆಗಿ ತಪ್ಪು ಆ ಥರ ಬಿಡೋದು ಬೇಡ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನೀ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Please go through it. If you have anything, do ask. If not, we will continue. We'll complete unit number 3 and we'll take a break. Unit number 3, 50% we've already discussed. That free consent, all those things are there here. I'm not going to repeat that again. ನಂಬಿಕೆ
importance of what is related bond to perform. Someone lawyer, government employee, tension.
What one is legally bound to perform means I agreed that I have to give the class. You agreed that you have to pay 10,000. You are legally bound to give 10,000. I am legally bound to take the classes. That is what bound means obliged, responsible.
Most public policy is necessary.
Hmm. The policy which is made for the general benefit of the general public, and if you are misusing it for your own benefit, then we call it as opposite to the public policy.
Value of contract with the considered agencies and
Agency ಮುಂದೆ discuss ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. Agency means one party acting on behalf of the other party. ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಈಗ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ನು ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗೋದು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಐ ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟೆಡ್ ಯು ಆಸ್ ಅನ್ ಏಜೆಂಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಯು ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ there is no revenue. There is no revenue means there is no commission also. Still it is valid.
Last voluntary service, promise ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ pay ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಇದೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್
ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ
compensation for past ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫುಲ್ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಅಗೇನ್ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಆಫರ್, ಅಗೇನ್ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್, ಲೀಗಲ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದಿದೆ, ಎನ್ಫೋರ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆ, ಅವಾಗ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 3 years ಮುಗಿತು, 4th year ಬಂದು ನಂಗೆ ಆ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು, ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್. ಲೀಗಲ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ತಂದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾ 5 ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ, ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಸೀವ್ ದಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ.
ಅನ್ಕೋತೀವಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 5 lakh ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 5 lakh ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, 5 lakh ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಅಮೌಂಟ್
Shall we continue to unit number 3? Other essentials elements of a contract. Other essential element of a contract. What are other essential? As we discussed, consideration, first one, nature of contract, all those things. These things also should be there. 4 things are there mainly. The parties must be competent to the contract. Then there should be a free consent. Then lawful consideration with the lawful object should be there. And it should not be expressly declared as void by law. What is competence of the parties? 3 conditions. It should be major, sound mind, not expressly declared as void. What is major? Attained 18 years of age. But if you, with respect to minor, can you make any contract with the minor? No. Any contract made with the minor is void ab initio. What do you mean by void ab initio? It can't be enforceable in the court of law. You can't say that, sir, I give 5 lakh rupees debt to minor, he is not giving back. No, you can't go to the court. That is not enforceable by law.
So if that it is for necessary.
I meant to do it. But if the minor is there, he can not be a partner of the partnership firm, but he can be admitted as a for the purpose of benefit of partnership firm. But any money you supplied or any facility you given to a minor for the purpose of the necessity. What do you mean by necessity? For example, food, shelter, and funeral services, education, those things. Very, very basic necessity. And later, you can go to the court and recover that money only if you are supplied for necessities. You cannot go and file a case on minor. You can go and recover the money if the minor has his personal assets. Consider their parents died, he bought one house. Because he is not able to sell that, because he is a minor, he can't enter into any contract for the purpose of selling. You can recover the money after he becomes 18 years of age, only from the property. You cannot sue him for the purpose of non-performance. This is what with respect to major and minor. And whenever there is a contract between one major and major plus minor is there, 2 parties, joint promise by major and minor to the other party. Now the other party can entirely hold the major liable in this case, because anyway minor is not liable, he is totally discharged, entirely can hold liable for the other major. And when there is a major, okay, I'll discuss that point in partnership only. After attaining the majority within 6 months, you remember that point, we will discuss there on. Minor can always plead minority. What is that? He can always take the benefit of minority. I'm minor, you can't sue me. That liability for necessities, it is there. Only minor's estate is liable, not the minor. Provided goods are reasonably necessary for support of station in life, and sufficient supply must not be having that. That means he is already having 10 pairs of clothes. You are still buying some 10 more clothes, then that is not considered as necessity. He is already having 10 clothes. Any contract by guardian, is it enforceable? Because minor is not able to enter into the contract because he is a minor, can the guardian who is taking care of the minor enter into the contract on behalf of the minor? Yes, except for the transfer of immovable properties. Unless the guardian is a registered, court appointed registered guardian. There can be two types of guardian: normal guardian, where we generally go by that, or second one is court appointed guardian. If the court appointed guardian is there, he can do anything, because he can't do anything without asking the permission of the court. There one regulator is there, but normal guardian, he can't do anything with respect to immovable properties. See, guardian of minor has no power to bind the minor by contract for the purchase of immovable property or sale of immovable property. But the contract entered into by a certified guardian appointed by the court, minor can do all those things. That is possible. Minor can never be asked for a specific performance. For example, minor told, "Sir, I will what is that? Drive your car and drop you to Mysore, from Bangalore to Mysore. You give 1,000 rupees. You went and done the party. You cannot later ask that you promise that you will drive the car for 3 hours. You please come and do it. Specific performance not possible, because any contract entered with the minor is totally gone. No insolvency, because when you can't enter into the contract, how can you become insolvent? Partnership, yes, he can be admitted for the benefits of partnership. Minor can be an agent. Can the principal be an agent? No, because for all the acts of the agent, principal is liable. If the principal is only minor, then who are you going to hold liable? If agent does something, for example, agent is a minor, then you can go to the major principal and you can collect the money. But if the other case, that is totally gone. Minor cannot bind the parent or guardian. What is it? Minor cannot go to the one BMW showroom and ask that give me X7, BMW X7. My parents will pay the money. No, you can't do that. Bind the parent. Joint contract by minor and adult, only adult is liable. Surety for a minor, then the third party is liable. Minor as a shareholder. Can a minor be a shareholder? No, because there's a contract. But only there is, the shares have been devolved. Devolved means what? His father is holding the shares. Now the shares has to come to son only when the father demises. Then he can hold the shares. But the guardian should be appointed for the purpose of that. Liability for torts. What is liability for torts? Any civil wrong, any wrongdoings done by the minor, then he can be held liable. For example, just because minor is not liable, it does not mean that minor can kill anybody, or minor can destroy the public property, breaking the street lights, cutting the trees. No, not possible. They are the torts. For that, there's a juvenile. You know the word called as juvenile. There are two words. One is juvenile, second one is jail. Jail is for majors, juvenile is for minors. That is first point. Then comes person of sound mind. What is person of sound mind? There are 3 points here. Any contract made with the person who is of sound mind, it is totally valid. But any contract made with the person who is unsound mind, it is totally invalid. But any person who is always unsound, but occasionally sound minded, like you people, then you can enter into the contract when you are sound minded. Or when the person is always sound minded, but sometimes unsound minded, then any contract made when you are sound minded is valid. Those three things. Then disqualified person. Any contact made with the disqualified person also gone. For example, that foreign sovereigns, consulates, embassies, enemy country, alien enemy, all those people. You remember Companies Act. Then comes free consent. What is free consent? When the consent is not caused by, when the consent is not free from this thing, then we call it as consent is not free. When the consent is free from all these three things, five things, then it is said to be free consent. What are those five things? Coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation. All these four are voidable. Mistake, unilateral mistake and bilateral mistake. Unilateral mistake with respect to uh, okay, mistake. When I say mistake, there are two things. One is mistake of law. Second one is mistake of fact. Mistake of fact can be unilateral mistake of fact, bilateral mistake of fact. See, I don't want to explain again these four things. That is already done. I will take to mistake. You can read it. It is easy. This question is important. Reconcile. Mistake may be defined as an innocent or erroneous belief which leads to the party to misunderstand others. I mistakenly transferred 10 lakh rupees to you. It is unintentional happened. You have to send it back to me. That is why it is voidable. You can go to the court and get that 10 lakh. It is not void. Unilateral mistake. And when I say mistake, mistake of law is there, mistake of fact is there. Mistake of law is in Indian law. For example, you cannot say that I don't know if I kill somebody, I will be sent to the jail. That is not acceptable. I don't know, sir. By mistakenly it happened. No. Mistake of Indian law is not a forgivable offense. It is a compulsory punishable offense. But if you've done something in foreign exchange, you don't know the foreign law, something, then that is okay because nobody is required to bother and know all the laws in the world. You know only your country law. That is why it is ignorance of law is not an excuse. Then mistake of foreign law, then that's okay. It's a void, but it is still valid. Then mistake of fact. Mistake of fact can be bilateral or unilateral. What is unilateral mistake? For example, I give the same example. We listed some courses in the our website, in which you went and we have two courses: September 25 examination, May 26 examination. Then you by mistakenly instead of September 25 you went for May 26. In that case, those syllabus is not effective, not applicable for you. Then you came to us and asking, are we bound with you? No, because we clearly mentioned September examination batch, May examination batch, July examination batch. It is your mistake has caused this thing. That is why unilateral mistake is void. Sorry, not void, voidable. Bilateral mistake is void. I am also under mistake, you are also under mistake. That's okay. Unilateral mistake is, sorry, it is not voidable. Huh? Voidable merely because it was caused by a party. Right. Then legality of object and consideration, I think we discussed this. Whatever the object you wanted to enter, whatever the purpose you wanted to offer and accept, it has to be legal only. You can't agree for the purpose of destroying somebody property, killing somebody, what is that, drugs transaction, hawala transaction, those things should not be done. And consideration, anything you return in respect of offer, that also has to be legal only. Legal object and legal consideration. What is not legal consideration? When I say legal, all those things, there could be express and implied. What is express? The government expressly told that you should not do this. What is implied? They did not tell, but by doing that, it is totally against the what's that, forbidden by law. One is consideration or object is forbidden by law, you should not do it. Consideration or object, such a nature that if it is permitted, it will defeat the provision of the law. What example I have given for this? Second one. What is context? That's okay. Not required. You just remember the point. When it is fraudulent, whenever you try to do something fraudulently, that means to take advantage of the other party, to deceive the other party, cheat fund scam, those scams. That is also what is it? Illegal object, not legal object, and not legal consideration. When consideration is immoral, and when a consideration is opposite to the public policy. So, what do you mean by consideration opposite to the public policy? There are few things. This is important. One is any consideration given for the trading with the enemy that is opposite to the public policy. Why? Because money given, alien enemy means what? Enemy means alien enemy. See, whenever there is a war between two countries, those countries are called as enemy countries. And you bought some goods from the other country. Now, because of the war, if you pay the payment, it is as good as you are giving the money to the enemy country to bomb on yourself only. That is why you wait until the war is completed, you don't give any consideration. So that is what they're telling. If you trade anything with the enemy, when the war is over, it there is a friend company. When it is a war, it is an enemy company. If you do anything with the enemy company, enemy country company, then it is opposite to the public policy. Then stifling prosecution. What is stifling prosecution? Changing the prosecution sentence. For example, judge has given 10 years. Now you are giving some money consideration and making it to 1 year, maybe making it to 6 months. That is also void. Maintenance and champati. You remember this word? This is also important. Specifically, can be asked for 4 marks. Maintenance is like whenever the party who is not interested in the property, but give some advice, give some what is that services for the purpose of maintaining the case of the other party. For example, I can give A is there, B is there, and person C is also there. A is a CEO, B is a secretary of CEO, and C person is there. Now, C is gone to B and told, you put on a sexual harassment case. Because C wanted to become the CEO, until unless the A comes down, C can't become the CEO. Now, C is giving some consideration for the purpose of maintaining this case on A. That is called as maintenance. That consideration given here is opposite to the public policy. What is champati? You remember the lawyer example? Person A is there, person B is there, brothers. Now they have one piece of land. They are fighting for that. This belongs to me, this belongs to me, something like that. Now see, one lawyer is there. Lawyer went to B. See, I will give all the facilities. I will give the money also. I will fight for you also. But the moment we win, you should give the part, maybe 20% of the property to me. In case of maintenance, there is no giving back. In case of champati, the other party is doing the work for this party for the purpose of getting a portion of the property, proceeds of the those case. Trafficking relating to public office and titles. Titles means Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan, Padma Shri, or maybe these titles given by the government. If you are giving the bribe and taking that is totally opposite. Agreement tending to create the monopoly. If the Geo and Airtel agrees that we will create one company only, then we will charge some 1,000 rupees per GB data. Then that agreement is also opposite to the public policy, can't be entered. Marriage brokerage agreement is also opposite to the public policy. But this Kannada matrimony, Telugu matrimony, Shadi.com, are they opposite to the public policy? No. Why? Just giving the information of the other parties. If you want, you can go on a date, you can finalize that. Then interference with the course of justice. That means you are trying to enter into the court. For example, you are making sure that the evidence is not available correctly, or you are giving the wrong evidences. Then that is also opposite to the public policy. Interest against obligation. Consideration is unlawful in part. In that case, it is also important. Market is important. If it is single object, any part of that, then the contract agreement entirely is totally void. Then void agreements, there are some agreements which are specifically given that the void agreements. They don't need to be. That means they are the agreements we already discussed. For example, mistake, and for example, this thing, subsequent illegality are not enforceable. Those things they are given here.
In short, LNC is not a Silence is all.
Any agreement made for the purpose of restricting the marriage, that is also opposite to the public policy. It is like, you remember that example, Ash, Sallu, and AB, or maybe Cat, Sallu, and Vicky. That agreement is totally void. Our agreement in restraint of trade also void, except three conditions has to be satisfied. One is the party has to sold the goodwill to the other party, and the limitation, restriction for limited period of time for a limited geography. Then any restriction put by the other party is valid. If not, don't sell anything anywhere in the world, don't sell for your lifetime. I did not sell anything, but the other party is coming and giving that, what is that, threatening to me, then that is also not valid. That is void. Which is uncertain, meaning that is also void. Then comes wagering agreement. Okay, we'll take a break and then we'll discuss. Let me have a breakfast. I'm hungry. We take a 10 minutes break, then again we'll meet back.
Fraudulent concept. Silence is duty to speak.
ಏನಿತ್ತು ಹೇಳು?
Silence is equal to speech.
ಹಾ.
Duty to speak.
ಹಾ. ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ?
Fraud.
Page number.
Page number 45.
So whether silence is fraud or not, generally no. But in the following situations, it will be a fraud. So what are the situations where there is a duty to speak? For example, we are asking, have you committed any crime? Please reply. It is your duty to defend yourself telling no. But if you don't say anything, that means if you're keeping quiet, that means you have committed that, then a crime. That is, then only you are not objecting it. If you are not committed, then you have objected it. Then where there is a duty to speak, then you should speak. If you don't speak, it is considered as fraud. Or where some situation is there, silence is equal to speech. Where it is equal to speech, for example, there is a contract. We are. It is like I'm telling now. I'll disclose the marks of you in the last test. You already got the paper. I'm calling it. If you don't agree for this marks, then only you speak. Then only you raise the objection. If you don't raise the objection, it is considered it is done. That is what it's where silence is equal to speech. Under these two situations, even the silence is equal to fraud. I have given an example here. You can see that. Then comes a wagering agreement. What is wagering agreement? An agreement which is agreed by between two or more parties for which happening or non-happening, for which happening or non-happening is dependent on some event which is may happen, may not happen, which is uncertain to happen, and that happening of the event is not within any of the parties' control. For example, I'll tell, if you come to Mysore tomorrow, I'll give you 5 lakh rupees. That means you may come, you may not come. There is that, but is it within your control? Then it is not wagering agreement. There is one event that may happen or may not happen, but event also should not be in your control. I can't give a betting like if the sun rises tomorrow, I will give 5 lakh rupees. Definitely, sun is going to rise. That is not wagering agreement. Between RCB and Punjab, if RCB wins, I will give 5 lakh rupees. That is wagering agreement. Because winning and losing not in your control. RCB may win, RCB may lose. It doesn't matter. Anything can happen. Those type of agreements are called as wagering agreements. Not contract, wagering agreement. ಯಾರು ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು ಕಾನು ಗಾಳಿ ಬರಕತ್ತ ರೀಫಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ಕೋರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕತ್ತೇನೆ. Yes, you are asking something. Legitimate means, for example, anybody is having an affair with some, like one person is married and is having one son, and by having an affair also is having one more son. So legitimate son and illegitimate son. The person who has married validly as per the law, as per the tradition, we call it as legitimate as per the law. That is illegitimate. Without following any traditions or as per the law, that is illegitimate. Wagering agreement. These wagering agreements are wide. Here, essentials are the same only. The money promise to pay either money or money worth. Promise must be conditional on the happening of an or not happening of an uncertain event, where the two parties having the chance to win as well as lose also. Either this party can also win, the other party can also win, and there must be a common intention to bet at the timing of the making such agreement, and party should have no interest in the event except for stake. It is not like if RCB win, except financial interest. Do I have any other interest? No. RCB wins, I get the money. If RCB loses, I lose the money. It is not like Virat Kohli is my brother. I don't have any interest other than the betting one. But there are certain transactions which are similar to wager, but not. Okay, transaction similar to wager is there. Then transactions similar to wager, but they are not void. That things are there. One is lottery transactions or wager transactions, which may come, which may not come, and crossword puzzle and competition. Crossword puzzle and competition also void, except where it is dependent on the skill. Where is it? Where it is dependent upon the competitors. Wait. It's not clear. Those such competitions are valid. For example, running race, for example, chess. Other party may win, I also can win, but it is dependent on the skill and talent. Even the cricket, even the football, every type of game. Then comes speculative transaction. Speculative is like betting transaction. Speculation means mainly with respect to shares and bonds. I am thinking that price will go up. The price may go up also, may come down also. So speculative means you are betting on the shares price. That is speculative transaction. Then horse race transaction. There is one exception. Any transaction in which the price to the winner is less than 500 is wager. That means the government is trying to promote you bet more than 500 rupees. Bet 1000, bet 1 lakh, bet 1 crore rupees. That is valid. It is.
Legal, sir.
Huh? Share.
But then why is speculative transaction?
See, here there are multiple type of transactions. One is delivery transactions. Delivery means when I buy, I get the shares and I deliver that again. The shares are being delivered to me. When I sell again, I deliver that. It means electronically shares are transferred to my demat account. The other one is speculative transaction, where I don't want the money. I'm just betting like the price will go up of this share. For example, 2,400 rupees Reliance share is there, not 2,400. I am telling to person B that it will go to 1500. He said no, it will not go to 1500. Okay, whatever the price it goes up beyond 1500, you have to give it to me. If it doesn't go up, then I'll give it to you. Our intention is not to buy the share, not to sell the share. Betting on the price movement of the share.
Alligator.
Hmm?
Alligator app.
Alligator? Very good. Yes. You're asking something. Then there is something called as trading also. There is something called as F&O also. Future and options. They are valid. Everything is valid. These are what? Speculative transactions.
Because it is not exactly but
See, why speculative is wide? There is a simple funda like, if you tell that, for example, any one big institutional investor says that price will go up and other party said it will not go up. When I say big institutional investor, he has so much of capital. For the purpose of increasing it, he will do the price rigging part. That Harshan Mathas scam I have seen the same way. Go on investing, bring the price up, then you dump it in the market. That is why they avoid this as not. It is like a wager transaction. It is not a valid one. Then transactions which are like chit fund. Sorry, what is that? Wager, but not wide. One is chit fund. What is chit fund? It's like 10 people put on a monthly basis 10,000. 1 month, one party will get some quotation amount. Second month, again everybody put, then second party will get. That means everybody will definitely win. Games of skill and athletic competition. Yes, where there is a skill involvement, that is valid. Where there is games, all those things which is does not involve skill and all those things are invalid. And contract of insurance. Contract of insurance means what? If the person dies, if the person does not die, will I die today? Don't know. Maybe, may not be. But contract of insurance is like betting on my life only. If I die, you will lose. You have to give 2 crore rupees, you have to give 10 crore rupees. Insurance company has to give it right to the nominee. If I don't die, I'll give some premium. But it is not. It is for the purpose of protection of the people's life. Actually, this LIC is not considered as normal transaction. Marine insurance, fire insurance, that vehicle insurance are covered here. Because when somebody died, you can't just give 2 crore rupees and tell that it is your work. Life is having so much of work. That is why insurance, LIC, life insurance is excluded here. There's the difference. You can go through that. That's it for unit number 4. Unit number 4, performance. I don't think we will see what is important. When I say performance, what is performance? Doing doing what one is obliged to do. I promise to give the class, you promise to pay the money, then you have to do your part, I have to do my part. That is what the promise, performance. There are 2 kinds of performance: actual performance, attempted performance. What is actual performance? Actually doing it. I'm giving the class and you are also paying some partly fees. That is actual performance. What is attempted performance? I wanted to take the class, but you are not coming to the class only. Then whom should I take the class? I should teach here and I should go back there and I should sit and again I should do this. Nan pata nane kele nane pata ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಾ? That is attempted performance or tender of performance. And again, simple things are there, not so important. What are the conditions to be satisfied for a valid attempted? I should be able to prove that yes, I am ready to take the class. I was here, I opened my tab, I opened everything is there, but students are not there. Student has come, but they are doing so much of disturbance. They are not allowing me to take the class. Valid? How can I prove that? What has to be satisfied to call it as a valid attempted? One is it must be made at a proper time and place. It is not like just because I wanted to take the class, I can't call you at 12 o'clock midnight. That is not attempted. It must be for the whole obligation. What do you mean by for whole obligation? See, I'll give only 10 classes, remaining 20 classes you buy it from somewhere else. No. Only whole obligation has to be performed. By whom a contract may be performed? Who has to perform the contract? For example, we both are agreed. My contract. Can I appoint somebody else to teach here? Actually, contract can be performed by 3 parties. One is party to the contract, or agent, or then legal what is that? Representative, legal representative. Sir, when it can be performed by the other party, when it can be performed by the party to the contract? When the contract includes any personal skill and judgment. For example, singing, for example, sketching, for example, dancing, which involves personal skill, all those things, then the only party to the contract has to perform it. See, I hired Arjit Singh for the purpose of performance in my marriage, but Arjit Singh sent one Kanji Pindi, one Tukali. That is not acceptable. I am hired because his voice is good, he has so much of fan base, people will come. That is what it involves personal skill and judgment. For that, it has to be performed by party to the contract only. The other things can be performed by legal representative or the agent, legal aside. Promisor himself, where when which involves the exercise of personal skill or diligence. Then by agent, anything which does not involve those things, and legal representative, anything which does not involve these things. For example, one of my uncle told is a one company employee. He is about to consider Flipkart delivery boy only. My uncle is to deliver the Flipkarts. One day he fell ill. Can I deliver him on behalf of in the market? On behalf of him, can I deliver? Because it does not involve personal skill. I see the address, I go there, I deliver it, I get the OTP, I get the payment, get it done. It does not involve those things. Then I can do those. Legal representative or agent, those things can be done. Effect of accepting performance from third person. What is this? ABC combined together borrowed money from SBI of 10 lakh rupees. Not 10, 12 lakh rupees. 444. 4 is 12. Combined money. Later, they are supposed to pay, but person Z has paid 6 lakh rupees to SBI on behalf of these three people. Then any performance done by the third party is having effect. That means the SBI can collect only remaining 6 lakh rupees from us, not the entire 12 lakh rupees. That is where. Then there are two concepts, succession and assignment. What is succession and what is assignment? Assignment means voluntary transferring of anything to one party to the other party. For example, I sold my property, I sold my bike, I'm giving the classes voluntarily doing it. I am assigning my something to other party. What is succession? It is the, what is that? Effect of law. What is effect of law? When the father dies, the property has to be passed to the son only. That is what we call as succession, inheritance. Those things is succession, this is assignment. Assignment is a voluntary activity, succession is a legal activity, lawful activity. When I say assignment and when I say succession, can I assign? Can I assign my asset to you? Can I assign only my liability to you? In case of assignment, only liability assignment is not possible. Property can be assigned. But in case of succession, property as well as liability, both things can be done. And to how much liability? To the extent of property inherited from the successor. Then liability of joint promisor and joint promisee. What is liability of joint promisor and joint promisee? When multiple parties promised something to the party and they died, and the legal representative will become the liable for those things. Only to the extent of property inherited by them, not in excess of that. Any one of the joint promisor may be compelled to perform. The same example, ABC borrowed 12 lakh rupees from D. Now D can ask all the three from all the three people 444, or they can D can ask 12 lakh rupees from A. One party is compelled to pay, but the party can recover 4 lakh and 4 lakh rupees from B and C. That is possible. And one is any one of the joint promisor may be compelled to perform. That means A should give 12 lakh rupees, and he is may compel to contribution. What is contribution? 4 lakh and 4 lakh can be collected from B and C. This is the same. One case study is there on this. Some 5 marks case study. If you see the question papers, you will find it. Sharing of loss by default and contribution. What is sharing of loss in by default of contribution? A, B, C are there. Now B became insolvent. So whatever the loss is 4 lakh rupees coming now, that has to be shared between A and C now. That is what sharing the loss. Effect of release of one joint promisor. What is effect of release of one joint promisor? ABC promised to pay D 12 lakh rupees. D told to C, you don't pay me. I collected from A and B. Is it valid? Then right of the joint promise. Hmm?
You can directly collect it.
He can collect, but A and B should have a right to collect the C share from C. A and B can collect it. D cannot discharge it. How? Who is the D to discharge? The moment the receipt collect is gone outside, he is out of the contract. Right? So you can see that. Then comes time and place for performance of the promise. What is time and place for the performance of the promise? When should I perform? And at what place I should perform? If it is specified, then perform on the specified time. So what do you mean by specified time? You call it as reasonable time. What is reasonable time? Business hours, 10 to 6. If the place is specified, then perform in that place. If it is not specified, if the what is that? Place is not specified, then in the reasonable place. Then if it is time is not specified, in the reasonable time. Some extra things are there. You can go through that later. Performance of a reciprocal promise. What is performance of the reciprocal promise? See, when I say I have to give the class for your fees, I am not bound to perform my part of duty unless you perform your part of the duty. Unless you pay the fees, I am not bound to give the classes. That's what is given. It is not bound to perform reciprocal promise until unless the first party does it. Order of performance of the reciprocal promise. That means who has to perform first. It depends on the type of contract they enter into. I given an example of self-service hotel and sitting hotel. You remember when I say self-service, if you go to Udupi hotel, you have to first take the token and then you go to the token and collect that food. That means in under that situation, under that type of contract, the order of performance is like pay the money, get the food. But in case of dining related part, dining and cuisine, you go order, eat, at the end you have to pay the bill. In that case, performance of the hotel is first, then you are second. That is first and second. Then liability of party preventing event on which contract is to take effect. That means this one. I agreed. I'll construct Madan's house. I'll paint Madan's house. When I go to Madan's house, he made stand the two gundas outside home. When the Veeraj comes, you beat him up and send him out. That means I'm trying to perform, but it's preventing me from performing that. In that case, I have attempted. Then it is not liability. It is the liability of the other party. Liability of the party preventing event on which the contract is to take effect. That's it. 54 is also you can read it. This is what is the effect of failure to perform at a fixed time fixed in a contract where time is essential. You remember that marriage example? That Akshay's father-in-law wanted to give that tar example, the same thing. If the time is essential, then it can be avoided. If the time is not essential, you can claim for the damages, but you cannot avoid the contract. Can you enter into any agreement to do impossible act? No, the word only says, I am possible, I am possible. No, that is only for quotations, not for this examination. Impossible act means you can't, it is totally void. Either impossibility can be initial impossibility or subsequent impossibility. Both the things we already discussed. What is initial impossibility? Before entering into the contract only, that is not possible to perform. If it is known to the parties, that means both people know that. So it is not possible. You can't bring the sun, you can't bring the moon together or to the earth. Then that is known to the parties. It is what? Void. If it is unknown to the parties, then also it is void. But if it is known to a promisor only, then it is voidable. Because I know that I can't bring it, but I'm giving unnecessary hope to the other party. That means the other party has a option to cancel that. Voidable. Subsequent or supervening of impossibility. This question is also there in the question paper. I have seen it multiple times. The example you can give the same only. That A agreed with B to supply 100 bags of sugar for Chennai. The route available for Chennai is only road route. No waterways is there, no airways is there. But after we entered, after 2 days, I have to supply. But tomorrow, the rain has fully started because of which the road got damaged and one bridge collapsed in between the Chennai and Bangalore. Later, I asked the department how much time it will take. They said at least it takes 1 month because the water flow has to come down, then everything has to happen 1 month. But tomorrow I have to deliver. It is not possible. Then we call it a subsequent impossibility. Initially it is possible. Now later it become impossible. That is also void. When I say void, whatever the advance which is given by one party to other party to this party, it has to be reversed back to the original owners. Then this is important appropriation of payment. What is appropriation payment? You remember that example? I borrowed 1 lakh rupees, 70,000, 60,000, 50,000. Later I repaid only some amount of money. Remember that for example? A borrowed 10k, 20k, 30k from B. A has borrowed all this money. Now A is repaying. See, it is borrowed on 10th of August. It is borrowed on 15th of August. It is borrowed on 30th of August. 30th of August. Now A repaid 15,000 rupees to B. Now that 15,000 should be adjusted for 10, 20, 30. What amount that has to be adjusted? It's called as appropriation payment. So if the A specified that you adjust this 15,000 for this only 20,000, then that has to be appropriate to that payment only obligation. If it is not specified, then what is that? The lender has an option to appropriate the way he wants. If he also does not want to appropriate, the buyer also what is that? Borrower also did not said you can appropriate anyway. What happened? In that case, then it should be in the order of descending. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Three things are there. Application of payment where the debt is to be discharged to be indicated. Application of payment where debt is to be discharged is not indicated. Application of payment where the neither party appropriates. Then the three things are there. Then this is simple only but important. Revocation of contract. Can you read it? How many times revocation was there? Novation, recession, alteration. Hmm? You did it once, all these things. ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಚಲೋ ಇತ್ತು, ನಾಷ್ಟ ಮಾಡಿ ನನಗೆ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಬರೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಸ್ಟರ್ಡೇ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೇ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಎಸ್ಟರ್ಡೇ ವಾಸ್ ಫುಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲಿಂಗ್, ನಿದ್ದೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಖಾಲಿ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಿದ್ದೆ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ತುಂಬತಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್. ಈಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಏನ, ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಹಸು ಇದ್ದವನಿಗೆ ಹಸು ಒಂದೇ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಂತೆ, ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ತುಂಬಿದವನಿಗೆ 100 ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅಂತ. ಹಂಗೆ ಅದು ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ತುಂಬಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕನ್ನೋದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್. We'll continue, you can read it later. Then comes discharge of contract. What do you mean by discharge of contract? When the contract is discharged, when the patient is fully recovered. The contract is discharged either of the following ways. What do you mean by discharge? The contract has come to an end. When does the contract will come to an end? Because of multiple things. One is discharge by performance. What do you mean by performance? Completed, the contract is completed. I give the fees, I give the class, that's over. Performance. One is actual performance. Second one is attempted performance. Attempted means I wanted to perform, the other part is preventing me from performing that. Then discharge by mutual agreement. What is discharge by mutual agreement? We both agreed, okay, I can't give the classes, I have some other commitment. Sir, I also don't have any money. That's okay. We both agreed and we won't hurt. Then discharge by impossibility of performance. What is discharge by impossibility of performance? See, when it is impossible to perform, whether you discharge or not, it becomes void anyway. That is also, it is impossible to perform. Then discharge by lapse of time. Time fixed for the performance is over. Discharge by operation of the law. Law made it as contract is, that paint example you remember. Narendra Modi came and announced that because of that the contract becomes discharged, can't be performed. Discharge by breach of contract. I did not take the class, I breached the contract. Then also it is discharged. Then promisee may waive or remit performance of the promise. What is this? The other party can tell, okay, no need to perform. It's okay, I'm leaving you. Go. That is what we call it as waiver or remit of the performance of the promise. Effects of neglect of promisee to afford promiser reasonable facility for performance. What is this? It is because of the neglect of the promisee. I told to Madan, we and Madan agreed, I'll paint your house. Later, for the purpose of painting, Madan should give me the house. Madan told paint in the air. I'll stick it to my house. It is neglect of the promisee to give it. Then also it is discharge. It is not my fault, it is the promisee fault. Read that. Effect of neglect of promisee to afford promiser reasonable facility for performance. Then merger of rights. What is merger of rights? I gave one classic example for that. I was in a rent for a building for, I already paid 1 year of rent. You remember? I'll give that again. There is one house. I taken this rent for 1 year. I already paid 12 months rent. After the 6 months, the owner is telling that okay, if you want, you can buy the property. When I say 12 months rent, I paid 12 lakh rupees, 1 lakh rupees per month. Later, I bought this house at this point of time. I bought it for 1.2 crore rupees. Now, I'm having the right to stay in the house for another 6 months because I already paid the 6 months rent extra. And again, I bought this house. I have two rights. What is the superior rights? Now, ownership is the superior right. then it will come and merge here. That means remaining 6 lakh rupees you deduct here and pay only 1.15 lakh to me, 1.15 crore to me. That is what merger of rights. My rights are being merged. That's it. Breach of contract also, I'll not take so much time. I'll take some 10 minutes. Simple thing. What is breach of contract? Failure to perform something what has to be performed. Failure of a party to perform is part of the obligation. What is the remedy? Depends on the type of what is it? Breach. The breach can be actual breach or anticipatory breach. What is actual breach? The breach happened on the day or while performing. On the day of performance or while doing the performance. Anticipatory means before the due date has come, the other party has breached the contract. I don't want to paint your house all those things. Then this is not okay, not important. This is important. Types of damages. There are 5 types of damages are there. What are those damages? Ordinary damage, not 5, 6 types. Ordinary damage, special damage, exemplary or vindictive damage, nominal damage, damages for deterioration caused by delay, and prefixed damages. Prefixed damage is very simple. They only agreed that okay, if you don't perform this, you have to pay 10 lakh rupees as penalty. That's over. Then comes the nominal damages. What is nominal damages? A damage, actually there is a breach of contract, but the other party did not lost anything. There's just a breach of contract, but loss is not suffered by the other party. In that case, court will offer something called as nominal damages. See, any type of damage except this prefixed is given by court only. It is not by humans or deciding by parties to the contract. Only prefixed can be decided by parties. Nominal means it is just like see, you are walking here, you like this corner, your hand touched, then you, something has happened, then you started crying, and then I'll say, okay, take this 20 rupees, don't cry, come. This is what we call as nominal damage, very, very small amount of damages. Then comes ordinary and special damages. What is ordinary and special damage? It mainly the difference is direct and indirect. In case of ordinary damages, any loss happened because of the non-performance or breach of the other party, that has to be compensated to this party. When I say loss, it is actual loss, not the loss of profit. What is the loss of profit? See, in the supply model of the case, profit loss ಆಯಿತು ಅದನ್ನು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ. Any loss happened actually, that has to be compensated. What is special damages? Ordinary we agreed. What is special damages? Future part. Okay, what is current things? You tell me.
Any indirect
Come again.
any indirect losses which will be
Example. That government example you remember. I am a supplier of pen. I made contract with. Okay, I will write here. X is there, Y is there, Z is also there. Y ordered to X that he wanted to buy and he wanted to sell. X wanted to sell her. Now, Y is buying for the purpose of delivery to the Z. Now, if this delivery has been intimated to Y, then the X has to compensate whatever the loss happened to him as well as this transaction loss also. But if it is not specified here, but on the date they agreed for 100, but on the date of performance it is 120 in the market. 20 into 100, that is 200 has to be collected. That only direct damages, only this direct. What is a special? This plus this plus this. 2 types of damages. Vindictive damage. What is vindictive damage or exemplary damage? This type of damage is given only in 2 situations. One is wrongful dishonor of the check. The second one is when there is an art of filling. So remember that other example, 20,000 he gave the check. Later the check got bounced, and sorry, that is wrongful disallowal of the check. Then second one is
Marriage.
feelings, sir. What example did I give for that?
Salute.
Sorry.
So, but how can we compensate for the emotional damage?
You can't quantify, but something has to. The judge will see, or he will say, "Sir, he broke my heart. Give me 10 crore rupees." Okay, if judge feels okay, they'll give. Damages for deterioration caused by delay. You remember that lorry example, bringing the apples. That example. Only this part is important here. That's it. There's nothing important. We can go through the remaining part. One small thing I can discuss is quantum merit. What is quantum merit? Quantum merit means proportionate. Consider I agreed to take the classes, but I completed out of 6 chapters, 3 chapters. Now you can't say that you did not complete the class, that's why you don't pay the fees. Whatever the portion up to 50% I covered, you give the 50% of fees. That is called as quantum merit. Quantum merit means proportionate percentage. Is there no question there? No? Contingent quasi contract. We discussed in just like in unit number 1, unit number 3,
PhD.
quasi contract, finder of last goods.
The market is deemed as quasi contract.
So you know what is contingent contract? Contract may happen, may not happen, dependent on some uncertain event. Again, no definition. I am not going to that. Essentials also we can go through that. What is the page number you are telling? First one is cases deemed as quasi contract. That means there was no contract, but they are treated like contract. That's what cases deemed. Deemed means assumed. First one is claim for necessity supplied. What is this claim for necessity supplied? See, any necessity supplied to the minor, can you enter into agreement? When you can't enter into agreement, then there is no contract only. When there is no contract, how can you enforce? That is a deemed quasi contract. There is no contract, but it is like implied contract is there between the minor and you. You can recover the money from the estate of the minor. That is first one. Claims for necessity supplied to the minor. Payment by an interested person. What is this payment by an interested person? You remember that example which I gave for Samarth. Samarth went to Thailand, but DBFP came and started demolishing it. 5 lakh rupees I paid. Remember, don't remember. You attended entire law class? There. No, you attended the law class, right?
No, sir, I joined from negotiable.
Okay. ನೆನಪಿಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನೆನಪಿರ್ಬೇಕು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ನೆನಪಿರ್ಬೇಕು Obligation of a person enjoying the benefit of a non-gratuitous act. Okay, you understood what is payment by interested person? For example, okay,
Charity, sir, charity.
not charity. ಇವ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ದಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. Consider me and Madan is there. Madan and Viraj. Now Madan's house is this, Viraj's house is this. Madan went to Thailand for 1 month. Later some BBMP came with the bulldozer stating that I'll demolish the Madan's house. Later I asked, sir, why you want to demolish? See, his municipal taxes are 5 lakh rupees pending. Then, oh, I know Madan will come and give it back, so I paid 5 lakh rupees to BBMP. Then I am an interested person in that property. In that case, even though there is no offer and acceptance between me and Madan, because Madan is already full switched off Thailand full enjoy ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ Madan ಆಗಲಿ. So that is why I paid that 5 lakh and I can, there is a like type of contract I can recover the 5 lakh later. That is this person, interested person. Then application of a person enjoying the benefit of non-gratuitous act. What is non-gratuitous act? Like commercial activity. Gratuitous, non-commercial or free of cost, those things. It is like some Reliance Smart is there. My house is here. Magan's house is here. I ordered one fruit basket, cut fruit basket. Later, my house is 1363. This Baju house is 1336. The delivery boy got confused with this and he gave delivery to this. Because Madan got it for free, he started eating it and he completed that before the delivery boy comes. We do it right whenever we order some pizza in Domino's. Before they give, if they give wrong pizza, first we'll take one bite and we keep it so that they won't take it back. And they give our new pizza also, original pizza, what we order. Every time it happens. Every time means not every time I go. Every time I go, if it happens, then it is like second pizza is free for us. So he delivered all those fruits and Madan ate it. Later, I called again the Reliance Mart, where is my fruits? Then he said, I have delivered. Then he comes back and tells, is that delivery boy intended to give it for free for Madan? No. That means it is a non-gratuitous act only, but he is enjoying that. Then it has to be paid back to him and he should be paid back to him. Then responsibility of FOLG, finder of lost goods. Who is the finder of lost goods? A person who found the goods which is belonging to some third party. And it is the duty of the finder of lost goods to find out the original owner, true owner, and hand over the goods to the original real owner. If the goods are in two situations, if the goods are in perishable nature, then no need to wait for the owner to come. He can sell it, and if there is any cost incurred for the purpose of doing that, he can recover, keep it. The remaining things can be given to the original owner. The second one is in case of one is perishable goods. Second one is where the finder of lost goods has spent more than 2/3, more than or equal to 2/3 value for the purpose of finding the true owner. Then also he has a right to sell the goods, and whatever the extra thing is there, that has to be repaid back to the original owner. Under these cases, it happens. Then money paid by a mistake or under coercion. Mistake means by mistake I transfer to you 10,000 rupees. It is your duty to send it back. That is what we are telling. Even though there is no contract, like I send 10, you send me at 10, nothing. It is a contract, quasi contract. Madan, understood? %50 of the contract act is done. Almost we spent 3 hours 10 minutes. We'll take 5 minutes break, then we'll continue. We will try to complete. We will see. It is 12:15. Still, we will be having some 1 hour 40 minutes. We will see. The next contract is, see, the moment we complete contract act, we will wind it up. It may be 130, 145, doesn't matter. Contract of guarantee and contract of indemnity. What is contract of indemnity? To make good the loss, okay?
Cover the other parties liability for loss.
Okay. Contract of indemnity is like a contract in which one party promises to the other party if there is any loss which is caused because either because of the promiser or because of any third party, then this promiser will make good that loss. Whatever the actual loss happened, they'll reimburse that loss. Example, insurance type of contracts are the example. If you pay the premium, when you met with an accident, what's that? Vehicle insurance, then any amount of expenditure incurred that has to be claimed by insurance company. It has to be paid back. In which there are two parties. One is indemnifier, second one is indemnified or indemnity holder. Both are same. Where indemnifier is a person who promises to make good the loss. Indemnified is a person whose loss is made good by the indemnifier. Understood? What are the rights of the indemnity holder? Right to claim the compensation whenever the loss occurs. And what are the rights of indemnifier? To collect the premium, some charges for that. This is all about contract of indemnity. Simple contract, no complications. Then comes contract of guarantee. It is a bit important. Contract of guarantee is a contract in which one party promises to the other party. Okay, I'll take the names only. Consider the three parties A, B, and C. In which out of these three parties, I call A as principal debtor, B as creditor, third one is guarantor, surety. All the three things are same. Now, what is like creditors is like I can directly call it as SBI, State Bank of India, in which whenever there is A has borrowed some money from State Bank of India, consider some 10 lakh rupees. Now, SBI has asked a guarantee from third party. I have given the guarantee. Person C has given the guarantee. Now, if the A does not pay to the SBI, then the SBI will come and ask C. This type of contract is called as guarantee contract, in which there are three parties. One is principal debtor, creditors, and surety. Principal debtor is a person who borrows the money. Creditor is a person who lends the money. Surety is a person who gives a guarantee on behalf of the principal debtor to the creditor. Now there are three contracts here. The first two contracts are express contracts. The third contract is an implied contract. So what is express contract? Here he has borrowed the money. They entered into contract. This is one contract, A and B. The second one is in case of A's default, C has to pay to B. That is second contract. Their express contract. That is what they signed it. Third contract is the moment it becomes due and A defaults, C has to pay to the B. That means B went out of the situation now because whatever the money has to get, it got now. Now C has to. Why should C pay the money of A? It is wrong. So C can recover that money whatever he has paid from A. That is called as implied contract. Implied contract. It is not agreed, but impliedly they have some right. Now, when I say implied contract, in that case, A, B, and C, B will go away. Now C will step into the shoes of B because it is as good as C has given the money to the A. Instead of B giving money to A, when the C pays money to B, B gone, now C takes the place of B, then that implied contract, they can recover the money from A. Three contracts. Two express contract, one is implied contract. One is between principal debtor and creditor. Second one is between creditor and surety. Third one implied is between surety and principal debtor to recoup the loss which is paid by the principal surety. Under this type of contract, there are two types of guarantee contracts. So what do you mean by two types of guarantee contract? One is specific guarantee, one is continuing guarantee. What is specific guarantee? The guarantee given only for one transaction. I'm telling to SBI, you see, you give 10 lakh rupees, I'm liable for only that 10 lakh rupees. That is what guarantee, or the specific guarantee. Again, I'm going to SBI and I'm telling that, okay, you can give 10 lakh until unless I revoke my guarantee. You can give 10, 20, 30, as long as he asks, you can give that. That means my guarantee is for continuing. The guarantee given for a single transaction, specific guarantee, the guarantee given for a series of transactions is called as a continuing guarantee. Under specific guarantee, the liability of the guarantor or the liability of the surety is uh, can be revoked only if the performance is not completed. That means SBI has not lent the 10 lakh rupees to A. In that case, C can revoke that guarantee. Say, I don't want to give the guarantee. If you want to give the loan, you can give it. But in case of what is that continuing guarantee, the creditor, sorry, not creditor, the surety can take back or revoke the guarantee only with respect to the future transactions. That means they already gave 10 lakh, they already gave 5, 7. These three transactions are over. Then C went to the SBI, told C, I'm not liable for any further transactions. If you want to give, it is at your risk. Then for 10, 5 and 7, all these three things, the surety is still liable because it is before the revocation of guarantee it happened. After three transactions, they gave 20, they gave 30. For all those things, the surety is not liable. One is continuing guarantee, second one is specific guarantee. Understood? And here there are some rights. Rights are, when I say guarantee or surety, there might be multiple guarantee for a single transaction. Because if bank does not believe on one person or the loan amount is so huge, they might ask that, okay, give me 3 people guarantee, give me 2 people guarantee. In that case, those 2 people, for example, C and D, are called as co-sureties. Co-surety. Now, every person, the surety has a right with respect to the principal debtor, the surety has a right with respect to the creditor, the surety has a right with respect to the co-surety. Three things, rights are there. Before that, okay, we'll discuss that only. There are three parties involved: surety, principal debtor, and creditor. Here, the liability existence is compulsory. Without that, the guarantee should be given to for what? Like for liability only, guarantee will be given. Consideration. Without consideration, there can't be a contract. We studied that in the earlier chapter units. Now, is it important to have the consideration in case of guarantee? The guarantee contract or guarantee says any loan given to the principal debtor or any money given to the principal debtor is a sufficient consideration for surety also, so that they can give the surety. And the liability of the surety is how much you know. The liability of the surety is co-extensive with the liability of the principal debtor. Sir, what do you mean by co-extensive with the liability of the principal debtor? The principal is debtor is liable to what extent? To the same extent the surety is also liable. Only with respect to the guarantee given. Only with respect to the guarantee given. And if the guarantee is obtained by way of misrepresentation or concealment, what is misrepresentation or concealment? They agreed, banker and A agreed, B and A agreed 15% interest rate, but in the contract they wrote just as 5%. But when the surety is signed, they just added one number here. That is misrepresentation or concealment. In that case, surety is totally discharged. Surety is not at all liable. Then writing need not be necessary for the contract of guarantee. And joining of the co-surety. What is the joining of the co-surety? When the multiple people are given the guarantee, for example, A and B, A is the borrower, B is the bank. Now C and D are the two sureties. Now C has already come to the bank for the purpose of giving the guarantee, but D has not yet come. In that case, co-surety is not liable to sign until unless the D joins. Because if he signs, he is taking the entire liability. That is not what is expected. That is what it is there. Then types of guarantee we discussed: specific guarantee, continuing guarantee. To what extent the surety is liable? To the extent of coextensive with that of the principal debtor. If the principal debtor is liable, the surety is also liable. If the principal debtor is released, the surety is also released. To the same extent, the principal, the surety is also liable. This is not important. Discharge of surety is important. What is this discharge of surety? Surety is no way liable, no longer liable. That is what we call as discharge of surety. Under what cases? Under these cases. One is by revocation of contract of guarantee. Sir, how do you revoke the contract of guarantee? There are multiple ways you can revoke it. By way of giving a notice, by way of death, insanity, all those things are there. Or by way of conduct of the creditor. Because creditor has some activity, because of that he is surety discharged from his liability. Third one is invalidation of the contract of guarantee. Contract of guarantee is only invalid. First one is by revocation. How do you revoke? By way of giving a notice. Okay, you take this notice. I am no longer liable for specific continuing guarantee. From today, I am no longer liable. If you supply, it is at your own risk. Sir, when I say give the notice, need not be always notice should be given. If it comes to the knowledge of the creditor that surety has been taken out as surety, then that is also over. It has to be come to the knowledge of creditor. Second one is surety is death, then it is over. In case of surety death, whatever the earlier transactions has happened before death, for all those transactions, surety's legal heir will be liable to the extent of property inherited. That should not be forgotten. But any subsequent transactions, even the public notice is not given, he is not liable. Then by novation also it is released. What is novation? Cancellation of the old one, entering into the new contract. Novation. These are the three ways where discharge of surety is happening. One is by giving the notice. Second one is surety death. Third one is by novation. Then because of the conduct of creditor, something is happening. What does it mean by conduct of creditor? Because creditor does something, the surety gets discharged. One is variance in terms of contract. What is variance in terms of contract? Without getting the consent of the surety, they changed the terms of contract only from 5% to 15%, 15 to 25%, 10 lakh to 1 crore rupees. That is how they changed it. Variance. Without the consent, without the surety consent, then it is discharged. Then release or discharge of principal debtor. See, what is the liability of the surety? To the same extent, principal debtor is liable. If you release the principal debtor, definitely surety is also released because surety liability is zero. So principal debtor liability is zero. Surety liability is also zero. Then discharge of surety when the creditor compounds with gives time to or agrees not to sue principal debtor. It is like whenever the due date comes, the creditor should do all the activity to recover the money from PD. PD means principal debtor. He should sell the assets, he should put the case, he should send the recovery agent, he should do all these things. But instead of doing all those things, he compounds with or gives time to creditor, principal debtor. Okay, you are not able to pay now, you take 6 more months. In that case, without consent of the surety is discharged. Then composition. What is composition? Composition is like that is changing some terms or conditions. Involves variation in original contract and therefore surety is discharged. Without the consent, this is important. Without consulting the surety. Promise to give time. If the creditor promises PD to give time without consenting the surety, then also it is discharged. And promise not to sue. Okay, if you don't pay, don't worry, I will not sue. Who the hell are you to not to sue? Because surety is, interest is also involved. You try to recover the money from Vijay Mallya first. Because Vijay Mallya is not paying, then you went to somebody who has signed on behalf of Vijay Mallya. You left Vijay Mallya to go outside the country. Again, you are only catching the person who is legally doing the business. No, that is not right. You try to do it, whatever the things which is possible here.
So can there be surety for a part of the contract? Like
Yes.
Not for the complete contract.
Not for the
Complete date.
Yeah. That is what the concept called the surety, co-surety. One party is liable for some amount, other party is liable for some amount.
No, sir, there is only one surety. They have taken a loan for 1 lakh. Suppose the principal debtor has taken a loan for 1 lakh, then there will be a surety only for 50.
So if they agree, they can be there. If the bank agree, bank generally will not agree. Because one loan, one surety, complete liability. That is what bank policy is always.
ಸರ್ ಇದೇ ಮನೆ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲಿ security sign ಯಾರು ಹಾಕ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ?
Vijay only surety.
ಅವನೇ ಲೋನ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅವನೇ security.
Kingfisher has taken the loan, Vijay has the surety, financial guarantor.
One of the
Absolutely.
ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಲೋನ್ ಕೊಡೋ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಇರಬೇಕು.
ಹಂಗೇನಿಲ್ಲ, ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಕತ್ತೀವಿ. See, even I have also taken an education loan for doing CA, 2 lakh rupees. I did not give any guarantee because that is collateral free loan.
ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೀವು ಲೋನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ ಬಟ್ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಯಾರು ಏನು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಇದೆ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ
ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಈಗ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕೇಳಕತ್ತಾನೆ. ಈಗ ಸರ್ ನಾನು ಮೊದಲು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೆ ಇವ್ನಿಗೆ, ನಂಗೆ ಇವ್ನಿಗೇನು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಜಗಳ ಆಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿವಿ, ಮುಂದೆ ಇನ್ಮೂಲೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಸಾಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಅವ್ನಿಗೆ ನಂಗೇನು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಬಟ್
ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯ ಐತಿ ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ. Then contract obtained, invalidation of contract of guarantee. One is guarantee obtained by of misrepresentation. What is this? You have misrepresented entirely the terms of contract. Then guarantee obtained by concealment. By hiding some material fact, you are getting the guarantee. Then also it is discharged. Okay, this is one thing extra separately. Other than that, guarantee on the contract that creditor shall not act on it until co-surety joins. What is this? Guarantee on the contract that creditor shall not act on it until co-surety joins. What is this? When I say multiple sureties are there, until all the surety joins, then creditor cannot start recovering the money from only one surety. Or creditor is not bound to give the loan until and unless all the surety signs that surety agreement. Only one person signed, only other person not signed. Then the creditor can say, no, I don't want to give the loan, please get out. All the conditions have to be satisfied as agreed in the contract. Then there are some rights of the surety are there. First right is against the creditor, second is principal debtor, third one is co-surety. With respect to co-surety, for example, the same example I will give. A borrowed some money for which B and C are creditors, sorry, sureties for B bank. Now they borrowed some 10 lakh rupees. They surety is 50-50%. Now B only paid entire money to D. Now this B has a right against the co-surety to recover the 5 lakh rupees from the other part. That is what? Right against co-surety. Unless otherwise agreed, each surety is liable to contribute equally for discharge of old debt or part of debt remains unpaid by the debtor. Unless there is an agreement. If there is an agreement, then 60-40, 20-80, it depends on them parties. That is first one. Then against the principal debtor, what are the rights available? Rights of subrogation. What is rights of subrogation? Surety will take out his legs from this thing and puts into the shoes of the creditor when he repays that. For example, principal debtor borrowed money, creditor gave the money. Later, surety repaid money to the creditor on behalf of the principal debtor. Now, surety will become the creditor. That is what we call it as subrogation. Subrogation means changing of the position from one party to other party. From surety, he is becoming now creditor, putting into the shoes of creditor. Then one is implied promise to indemnify surety. What is implied promise? The moment surety pays money to the bank, it is implied that A has to pay money to C, because the money belonging to C has paid on behalf of the A. That is why it has to be implied thing. And again, not only this thing, indemnify surety, it even includes any interest extra paid, any compensation paid, any bouncing charges paid, anything, any money paid by surety on behalf of the principal debtor, that has to be reimbursed back to the surety. Then again, the creditor, surety's right to benefit of creditors' securities. What is this? Then right to set off. I will discuss both the things in a single line. A has borrowed money, 10 lakh rupees from B, for which C is given the guarantee for that. But while borrowing, he has given 5 lakh rupees worth of security, gold jewelries. Now, first one is whenever the C pays back the 10 lakh rupees, he should be eligible to get that 5 lakh rupees of jewelry. That is first one. Surety's right to benefit of creditor securities. Our ಕಡೆ ಏನು security benefit ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. Then set off. What is his right of set off? C has to pay 10 lakh rupees to B because he is a surety. Now, C is having one separate account called as savings bank account. In that, the 10 lakh rupees is there. Now, C can authorize the bank to set up this 10 lakh and this 10 lakh and make it zero. Right of set off is also available. Understood? Right against the securities of creditor, then right of set off. Last 3 more contracts. We are done with. Any doubt, anybody? Then bailment and pledge, again simple concept. Agency is bit lengthier. Ankit, are you checking like classes going on or not? Please go through that indemnity and contract. You will be having a full length test after completion of this. I think Saturday maybe. Shall we continue? Last 40-45 minutes. We will wind it up. The next concept is bailment and pledge. What is bailment? See, pledge is an extension of the bailment. If you understand the bailment, pledge is easy. What is bailment? Delivery of goods from one person to other person for some specific purpose. Okay. Then okay, that's it. Or it has to be disposed according to the instructions of the party who has delivered the goods. In case of bailment, there are two parties. One is bailer, second one is bailee. The party who delivers the goods is called as bailer. The party to whom the goods are being delivered is called as bailee. The best example for this is mechanic. I give my goods, the bike, for the purpose of some purpose. What is the purpose? To repair that bike. Once the repair is over, he has to return that bike to me. Or he has to do it as per my instruction. What I told to him, see, you repair it and send it to, you sell it, whatever the price it comes. That means he is not going to return it to me. He is going to sell it to some other third party. I am delivering the goods for a specific purpose. Once the purpose is completed, it has to be either returned or it has to be used in the manner I am specifying that person to do it. Then, so under bailment there are two parties. One is bailer and second one is bailee. So under bailment, for the bailee as well as bailer, there are certain rights. There are certain liabilities also. Bailment can be of two types. Actually, two types. The two type I can subdivide into three. That means narrow category it is three, broad category it is two. One is gratuitous bailment. Second one is non-gratuitous bailment. What is gratuitous bailment? The bailment which is done for the purpose of benefit of the one party for which there is no consideration. It is there. Or the gratuitous bailment may be for the benefit of both the parties. Anything can be there. Non-gratuitous means it is a bailment in which, where it is like a commercial transaction. I give the bike, you repair it, you tell me your price, I pay the price, I get the bike. Normal commercial transaction. Gratuitous bailment means you remember that watch example I was giving. Always deliver the watch to some party so that I can roam around and come back. That one. So, in case of gratuitous bailment, that bailment can be for the purpose of exclusive benefit of the bailer, or it can be exclusive benefit of bailee also, or it can be benefit of both the persons also. Sir, what is that? I will take the same example, watch example only. Now, Arogya is going for a date. So yeah, sorry, I don't have anything. You please give me your watch. Your watch looks great. You please give it to me. That means I am giving the watch, delivery of some goods for some specific purpose. He has to return it back to me. For which am I collecting anything? If I collect non-gratuitous, completely gone. If I don't collect, it is a gratuitous bailment. Now, whose benefit it is there? His benefit is there. That means for the sole benefit of bailee can be there by a gratuitous bailment. Or I am going out of town. Till I come back, you please secure this watch and I will keep it with you. Then it is for the pure benefit of me. Then he also wants the watch, I also going out of the town. It is for the benefit of both the parties. What are the duties of bailer? Bailer's duty is disclose the known fact. What is this disclose the known fact? Whenever I am giving the bike to Arogya, I should tell that brake is not working. You please take care of yourself. If I don't disclose and he directly then hit somebody and came back, then I will be held liable. Because see, if I don't know that brakes are failed, I can't do anything. Am I God? Like I should like visit everything? No, not possible. If it is a known fact, then only it has to be disclosed. That is the first duty of the bailiff. Then bear necessary expenses. Then indemnify bailey and bound to accept the goods. I discussed 4. What is bound to accept the goods? Once the purpose is over, bailey will come back with the goods to give back. Then it is your duty to accept the goods. Not right. Then third one, indemnify bailey. What do you mean by indemnify bailey? Indemnify means because of the using of your bike only, you has taken your bike, but on some place the bike got damaged or broke down, for which he has to change that engine oil, everything has to be done. It is not a regular activity. You have to indemnify the bailey for whatever the loss which is caused to the bailey. Then bear necessary expenses. What is necessary expenses? Any expenses which are required to make the goods available to the bailey. For example, one good is in one godown, one car, or gadi, one bike. Now, bike has to be bought here and should be delivered to Arogya. All the necessary expenses which are required for the bringing bike to this place, that has to be incurred by bailor only. All those 4 duties. You have the duties of bailor. Then comes duty to indemnify. It is the duty of bailor only. The bailey, duty to indemnify the bailey for premature termination. What do you mean by premature termination? I gave the bike rented for 1 week, but within 2 days only I am taking him back, taking a bike back. That means because of that he is incurring some losses. He has to take the cab. That has to be reimbursed by bailor only. The duty of the bailor to reimburse that. Then comes the duties of bailey. What are the duties of bailey? Whenever I give the goods, he should take care of the goods. How much care? Reasonable care. As a man of ordinary prudence, that care has to be taken, not the other care. Take reasonable care of the goods bailed. No unauthorized use of goods. I given the car to him for the purpose of his personal use. He started using it for drug transportation. Unauthorized usage. You should not do it. Then the bailey also should not mix the bailor goods with his own. What is this? Don't worry about that part. What is that car one? Think about the rice. Think about the chawal. Chawal means rice, right? I know Hindi and English, both the things. Think about the rice, think about the dal, think about the grams, pulses, everything. I gave one quality of grams, he has one quality of grams, he mixed it. Then mine is subject to the higher quality, higher price, his is some lower quality, lower price. In that case, then we have to see, can it be separated? If it is separated, then it has to be separated. My goods will be mine, his goods will be his. But the expenses have to be bear by bailey only. If it can't be separated, then proportionately. What proportionate? Generally equal proportion, 50-50%. Then return the goods. Once the purpose is over, it is his duty to return, other party's duty to accept that goods. Then to return any extra profit accruing from the goods bailed. You remember that buffalo example? I am going abroad and I have one buffalo. I gave it to Arogya. I came after 9 months. The buffalo already gave delivery to one baby. I'm talking just about the buffalo. So I asked, give me my buffalo back. Then he gave that only buffalo. Then I asked, see, this is the byproduct of the buffalo. Only you have to give it to me because it is the profit addition which is happened to the buffalo. Then he told, no, you only give one buffalo. You take this one buffalo. It should not be the duty of bailey. Duty of the bailey means whatever the profit, extra profit coming out of that has to be returned back to the bailor only. Then not to set up an adverse title. What do you mean by what to set up not adverse title? I gave one commodity, for example, bike to him for 2 days rent. He went and already pledged that goods to somebody, sold that goods and took the money and left the country. No, it is adverse title. You can't set up adverse title means adverse ownership. You can't do it. Then some rights of bailor are there. some rights of bailee is also there. See, can I say, whatever the rights of bailer, the duty of the bailee will become. Whatever the rights of bailee are there, the duties of bailer will become. Please go through that and tell me if you have any doubts at any point. Once you've done that, I think bailment is over. One termination is there. Okay, 2-3 concepts are there. We'll discuss and we'll discuss the pledge also. You read regarding that rights of bailer and bailee. Whenever you're reading the rights of bailer, keep it in mind that the duties of bailee. Whenever you're reading the rights of bailee, keep in mind of the duty of the bailer. Then you will easily understand those things. Here. Personal question ಕೇಳ್ಬೇಡ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Bail related ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕೇಳು. Page number. Rights of suit by bailer and bailee against the wrongdoers. What is this? Wrongdoer means what? For example, I parked my bike there. I am a bailer, you are a bailee. You parked the bike there, but Shank came and destroyed the bike. They hit the front light. That indicators also gone, everything. It is a wrongdoing. Then what are my rights? We both can go and sue in the Shank for the purpose of recovery of the whatever the cost incurred. That is the rights of bailer and bailee for wrongdoer. ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಏನೇ ಅದೇ ಅಲ್ಲ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 180 ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 180 and 181 ಇದೆ. ಅದ್ರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಇದೆ. Baler can sue in one section, bailee can also sue in one section. That two sections are there. Shall we continue? Then similar concepts, termination of bailment. When will the bailment come to an end? Whenever you want to end it, you end it. One is on the fulfillment of the purpose for which it has been delivered, repair of the bike, something like that, it is over. Then premature termination also, the termination will happen. And death, insanity, expiry of the time. Then see there, one is on the expiry of the stipulated time period. Then on fulfillment of the purpose by notice or by gratuitous bailment can be terminated by bailer at any time by giving a notice to the bailor. That means I don't want to give the watch, you please give it back to me watch here and you please get out anytime. By death or destruction of subject matter only. What is the subject matter? Our subject matter is only watch and we are fighting, it fell down, entirely destroyed. Because Omkar came and stood on that. And pudi agella ಹೋಗಿ ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. That is why the destruction of subject matter. Then everything is over. What is that? Everything is over. The bailment has come to an end. Then comes FOLG, finder of last goods. Before finder of last goods, there is a concept called as right of lien. What is the right of lien? Lien means it is withholding the property of the bailer with the bailey only. Sir, why it will be withheld? Because the bailer might not have not paid the money, or some other conditions not been fulfilled by the bailer, which is agreed by both of them. Because of which, right of lien means withholding the goods, and the goods should be withheld by legal only, not like bailer took the bike, you give the bike to a bailer. Later you went to the bailer's house, secretly you stole that bike and kept it there. No, it is not possible. It has to come with the valid from the bailer only. It is not from bailey. Later, lien can be of two types. One is particular lien, second one is general lien. What is particular lien? You can exercise the goods, you can exercise the withholding of the goods only on those goods which you have worked. You have repaired the bike, only you can keep that bike. If you repaired the car, only you can keep that car. That is what we call it as particular lien. What is general lien? Sir, I worked on the bike. Can I keep the car? Yes. Can I keep the house? Yes. Can I keep the jewelry? Yes. Everything can be kept. General lien means the lien available for every property of the bailer in general. Bailer in general. That is what particular lien and specific lien. Sorry, particular and specific lien. Then what is the second one? General lien and specific lien. Then comes finder of the last goods. What is finder of the last goods? We discussed it earlier, but here what is there is, whenever there is some specific reward announced for that, if anybody finds my daughter, I'll give 5 lakh rupees, like that. Then once you find the daughter, don't go for 5 lakh rupees. Marry and go for some 5 crore rupees. He'll be the son-in-law. Once you marry, if he has no sons, no daughters, then you are the entire king. Why that 5 lakh rupees? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ತೆಲುಗುದಾಗ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಡ್ ಐತೆ ಕಕ್ಕುರ್ತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಗ್ರೀಡಿ, ಮುಟ್ಟಾಳ್ತನ ಅಂತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. See, whenever somebody offers something, they have more than that to get. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. If I am offering something, see, I can give you, for example, 30,000 rupees for your class. I am getting more than that. Then only I am offering. When somebody offers a rewards of 5 lakh rupees, that means they are having more benefit than more than 5 lakh rupees. That's why they are offering. Don't fall for that trap. So if they don't give the 5 lakh rupees, you can go and sue the other party. Can the finder of last goods sell the goods which is found? Two situations. One is perishable. Second one is the value of the expenses increases exceeds 2/3 of the total value of the asset. That's it. Bailment is over. Pledge is also like bailment. There we call it as bailer and bailey. Here we call it as pledger and pledgee, or pawner and pawnee. Under which this essential characteristics of the pledge is having all the characteristics of the bailment along with some other extra characteristics. They are since pledge is a special kind of bailment, therefore all the essentials of a bailment are also essentials of the pledge only. Apart from that, other essential elements of the pledge are there shall be a bailment for security against the payment. Okay, what is pledge? First, we'll understand. What is pledge? Have you heard about it? Pledge is like keeping security of the movable properties for the purpose of obtaining the loan. If you mortgage if you keep your house as security, it is we call it as mortgage because that is immobile property. If you are giving the security as car, motorcycle, jewelry, or any movable items from one place to other place, shares like those things are covered as pledge. So, pledge is mainly for the purpose of there shall be a bailment for security against payment or performance of the promise. Security against the payment or performance of the promise. Goods pledged shall also be in existence. You can't pledge illusionary goods. That is not possible. Have you seen that Ashen Mehta scam that 500 crore rupees worth of beer is missing? That who is that clerk in that SBI? You remember the name? Raju. He went for his son's that. How helicopter wala karko martare? You don't remember? Sitaram. He's Sitaram. Yes. Sitaram only. I remember that. Then those BR should be in existence. Then subject matter of the pledge is goods only. That means services are not covered here. Only goods are covered here. Then there shall be a delivery of the goods from pledger to pledgee. That means you should give your jewelry first, then you get the loan. Then that is called as pledge concept. There are rights of pawnee and rights of pawner. I will not read it, you have to read it because it is 90% similar to the rights of bailer and bailey. Go through it once. Rights and duties. Bank receipt. Bills receivable kind of things. BR ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಜಾರ್ಖಂಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಐತಲ್ಲ BR ಏನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿ BR ಅಂತದ್ ಹೆಂಗ ಉಳಿತಿಂಗೆ ನಾ ಏನ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕೋಟಿ 500 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಮಾತಾಡಕತ್ತೀನಿ 500 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಬೇರೆ ಯು ಆರ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಅನ್ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನಬಲ್ marvelous awesome it is better I suggest to the management you people keep one what is it mirror comb powder all those things so that it will be easy for all the girls no ninಗಂತಲ್ಲ ನಾ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ at least ಈಗ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಇದೆ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 5 minutes ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಒಬ್ರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಒಂದು ಕೂಲ್ ಸರಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಯಾವ ತಲೆ ಸ್ನಾನ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಾಡದ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ 2 ಸರಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀ ಅಲ್ವೋ ಹುಡುಗಿ ನೀ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಅನ್ನ please go through the rights and duties. Think logically and you read the heading if you can understand by way of heading only then no need to read it entire thing. Hello? Pawnee and Corner. There are two parties. Baler is like Corner. Baler is like Pawnee. The party who gives the goods is called as Corner. The party who takes the goods is Pawnee.
For example, loan ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ minimum amount 9 lakh
Minimum ಕೊಡೋದು
9 lakh ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನೇನು ಅವ್ರು ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ 12 lakh ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸೊ 9 lakh ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು
ವಾಪಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದು. ಕಡಿಮೆ ಬಂದು ಇವ್ರ ಕಡೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತೆ. ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ 6 ಮಂತ್ ಅಂತಿರೋದು ಅವಾಗ ರಿಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ನಿಮ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಬಂದ್ವೇನಾ? ಪೇಪರ್ ಬಂದವಾ? ಅದು ತೋರ್ಸ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲ? ನಾಳೆ ತೋರಿಸಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಿಸಿ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಇವತ್ತು ಹೊರಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾಳೆ ತೋರಿಸಿ. ಅವನೊಂದು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದ, ಪೇಪರ್ ಬಂದೈತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. Yes, our life is also on property. He sold 6 months of his property. Then last one concept is left. Pledge by non-owners. What is pledge by non-owners? First of all, can I pledge this mobile and take the money? Because this is my mobile. Can I pledge my bike and take the money? That is also possible. Can I pledge this building and take the money? Because this is not belonging to me. The same way, first of all, pledging is not available for building. You should think about that. That is mortgage. Because what I meant is, only owner can pledge those goods and take the loan out of it. But there are certain situations where the non-owners can also take the loans out of pledging the goods. Those things are here they have given. Pledged by non-owners. They can ask this question directly. First one is pledged by mercantile agent. What is pledged by mercantile agent? See, mercantile means business, buying and selling, transaction. Any person who is appointed for the purpose of buying and selling the goods is called as mercantile agent. Any person who is appointed for some other activity, he will be called as an agent, but other agent. Maybe telegrapher agent, maybe commission agent, some other agents are there. One person is called as mercantile agent. The mercantile agent can also pledge the goods. For example, I give some rice packets to Aragya. See, if you please sell it and give it back to me. Then I again told him, say I need some immediately money. You please pledge it somebody and get the money. Can you pledge? Yes, even though he is not the owner of the goods, he can pledge it. If he has the title to it. Title to it means the moment I transfer 100 bags of rice to Aragya, it is like 100 bags are belonging to him only. You remember the concept I discussed is called as document of title, document showing title. Document showing title can't be pledged. Document of title can be pledged. Then pledged by a person in possession under a voidable contract. What is voidable contract? Those four things we discussed: free consent, under free consent, coercion, under influence, misrepresentation, and fraud. They are voidable. That means I'm putting the gun on Araga's head and I'm asking you please, not please. When I put the gun, why should I say please? You sell your bike for 1 lakh rupees, which is worth 10 lakh. He immediately signed it, and he is going for house. He gone for house and got some relaxation. Before he go to the court, I sold that or I pledged that bike with some third party. Is it valid? Yes. Before he avoids the contract by going to the court, if I do anything, then it is valid. If it goes to the court, then I can't do anything. Then the court will order in favor of him. Then I have to return that bike to the other party. And other party to whom I am pledging, even selling is also available. Whom I am pledging, that party should not know that this bike is not belonging to me. He should buy it in a good faith. Then only it is possible. If he is not buying in a good faith, then the title will not pass to the other party. Pledged by a partner who has only limited interest. There are two things. One is co-owner, one is limited interest. Limited interest means the percentage is specified. I am minus 30, minus 40, yours is 30, 30, 40, 30. So totally 100. That means when I have a limited interest of 40%, I can pledge only to the extent of 40%. When I say co-owner, there are two owners. It does not mean that 50-50%. There are two owners, that's it. Can one owner sell? Yes, with the consent of the other party, you can sell the entire building only. Or you can pledge the entire thing only. That's what pledged by co-owners, pledged by person having a limited interest. Pledged by seller or buyer in possession. What is this pledged by buyer or seller in possession? I sold some goods to Aragya, where Aragya told, sir, okay, you take this payment, you keep it, it's over. But I will take delivery after 2 days. That means sale is already happened. But within 2 days, I will pledge those goods to some other party. Is it valid? Yes, because it is the pledge by a seller who is in possession of the goods. Ownership agreement is someone. We're talking about the possession. If the possession is there, ownership is already transferred. That doesn't matter. You can pledge those goods. That's it. Last concept, agency. What is agency? Agency is a type of transaction in which how many parties are there? Who are the parties? Tell me. No. ರಾತ್ರಿ ದಿನ ಹಿಡಿದಿಲ್ಲ ನೈಟ್ ಇಂದ ಏನೇನು ಮಜ್ಜಿಗೆ ಕುಡ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಂದಿನಿ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಹಿಂಗಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಡ್ಯಾಶ್ ಹೊಡಿಬಾರ್ದಲ್ಲ ಪಾಪ ಅಮಾಯಕರ ಜೀವ ಹಾಳಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Agency in which there are only two parties. One is called as agent or second one is called as agentee. One is principal and the other party is agent. In which the agent is appointed for the purpose of doing any activity who is done on behalf of the principal. It is like an extension of the principal. Whatever the activity done by the agent, for all those activities, the principal is liable. When I say agent should be validly appointed. What do you mean by agent should be validly appointed? The consent of the agent should be obtained before appointment as an agent. Just like that, I cannot say that Mukesh Ambani is my agent. No, first I should get the consent of Mukesh Ambani, then only I can announce that he is my agent. Any activity done by the agent for which I am entirely liable. In which the agent can be minor, possibility is there, but principal can never be the minor person, because for all the acts of the agent, principal is liable. If the principal is only minor, then who is liable? Minus wife or husband. Totally impossible. So, and there is one more connected concept called as sub-agent and substituted agent. Sub-agent and substituted agent. What is sub-agent? See, first of all, the law says, contract of agency says, no agent should appoint one more person as an agent unless the permission of the principal. Because it simply means you can't delegate the work which is delegated to you. In home it happens like When I say my like if I'm the elder brother, I'll tell to my second brother, younger brother, "Hey, bring me one glass of water." He'll tell it to one more younger one. My younger one is because my mother is loving him so much. He'll order my mother. My mother says, okay, my mother, Amma one glass needs to come. Then my mother says, yeah, Nanga, you get me one glass of water. It is better I only go and get one glass of water. Why this circle? So no person is having authority to delegate what is delegated to the you, like agent. That is what there is a Latin word called as non-delegatus, etc. I don't remember. Who will remember that? If you come to that, you will read that. Non-delegatus core something was there.
Protest delegate.
Huh? Non-delegatus?
Protest delegate.
Protest delegate, correct one. In which any sub-agent appointed without the permission of the principal, then for all the acts of the sub-agent, who is liable? For all the acts of the agent, principal is entirely liable if he is validly appointed. But sub-agent who is appointed without the approval of the principal, without the consent of the principal, then who is liable? Agent is liable. That is called a sub-agent. It is like agent's agent is called a sub-agent. Then there is a concept called a substituted agent. What is substitute agent? An agent who is appointed by agent only, but on behalf of the principal they are appointing. That means the main agent's duty is over the moment he is appointed. Then from next day onwards, the substituted agent is like the normal one more agent to the principal only. Like principal is having two agents now. And when this agent is going away, he can appoint one person in that his place only, like an agent to the principal. That is possible. For all those acts of substituted agent, the principal is only liable, not the agent. Because the agent's authority is given only for the purpose of appointment. The appointment is over, your authority is over with respect to the other party. Substituted agent, then it is over. If sub-agent is appointed with the consent of principal, then principal is liable for both the agent and as well as sub-agent's activity. Who can be agent? Again, it should be major person, sound mind, and not disqualified by law. Those conditions, again, essential elements of condition should be there. Can a minor be the agent? Yes, it is possible. Is consideration necessary for this? No, consideration is not necessary. The agency can be express agency also as well as implied agency also. Same points, I am not going to repeat that. I am just skipping them. The one concept called as agency by estoppel. Implied agency are multiple types. One is agency by estoppel. What do you mean by agency by estoppel? Not stopping from denying the other, denied from stopping the other party. For example, Aragya is not my agent, but he is telling to Shreyank, say I am the agent of Veeraj, I will take care of all the duties, all those things with respect to purchase and sales. Then I have a right to stop him, so he is not my agent. I could have easily told, if I don't tell the same thing to him also, for him also, then he is becoming an agent by estoppel. Even though he was not an agent, but he becomes an agent. Agency by estoppel. Then comes agency in necessity. What is agency in necessity? In agency, for example, I appointed, you remember that apple bringing from Himachal Pradesh? Because of the transportation delay, they started rotting there only. Okay, I'll give the example same only. I ordered some apples from Himachal Pradesh. Because of which, I appointed one lorry driver. You go and bring the apples. I gave only right with respect to transportation of the apples. The apples has to reach to India within, not India, Bangalore within 3 days. But because of that traffic and some rain and everything, it has 3 days is over, but 50% of the route is also not covered. Then agent means that lorry driver stopped at one place. He started selling all the apples. Why? Not because his intention is to sell, because his intention is to protect the principal from incurring the losses. That means because there is a necessity that they have to sell the apples. Without that, their apples get rotten. The agency has been created. That is called as agency by necessity. Then comes agency by operation of law. Law appoints the agency. then right of a person has to act done for him without his authority, effect of ratification. For example, agent has given a right to borrow 10 lakh rupees or buy something or sell something, but he has acted in excess of his authority. In that case, what happens? Principal can say that I did not authorize him to do all those things. That is one possibility is there for principal. Or principal can ratify the transaction. What is ratify the transaction? After happening the transaction, you are approving it. Subsequent approval is called as ratification. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. What are the essentials of valid ratification? It must be express or implied. Knowledge requisite for valid ratification. That's okay, not important. Whole transaction must be ratified. What do you mean by whole transaction must be ratified? You cannot say he borrowed instead of 10 lakh 1 crore, I will ratify only 50 lakh rupees. No, you can't do that. You have to ratify for the entire transaction or don't ratify it. Ratification cannot injure a third party. What is ratification cannot injure a third party? Whatever the activity is done by the agent without the authority, which has caused some harm to the other party, third party, you cannot come and ratify that activity again later. You remember that example of my car? I gave it for 5 days rent, but agent went and trying to cancel the contract within 2 days only. That's okay, not important. I'll not waste time on that. You should not ratify something which is causing injury to third party. That's it. Then ratification should be done within a reasonable time. Sir, what is reasonable time? Don't tell 10 to 6. Reasonable time means he has done something regarding the perishable items. Then it has to be ratified in reasonable time, means some 2-3 days, or maybe 4 days. Anything with respect to land buying, land selling, you can take 1 month, 2 months also. Reasonable time depends on situation to situation. What is the agent's authority is available? In case of normal circumstances, only those powers which are there in the normal ordinary course of business. Again, power ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ ಅದಷ್ಟೇ power exercise ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಐತಿ. But in case of emergency, he can do anything. He can buy, he can sell, he can, for example, I am an agent of this building and I am doing the class. Suddenly there fire occurred. That there is an emergency situation. Just because I am a teacher, that means I should keep quiet. I should not go to the beside shop and get that fire extinguisher. Should I do all this? Yes, because in case of emergency, I can do any activity. That is to protect the firm from the losses, to protect the principal from the losses. Anything can done. But in normal cases, I should try to do only whatever the subject which is allotted to me. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ನಿಂಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ ಆದಾಗ ನೀನು ಕೈ ಹಾಕೋಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಹಂಗಾದ್ರೆ. Then comes sub-agent, we already discussed. Agent cannot delegate the work. Here it is there. Delegators, non-protested delegate. Then this question can be asked for 4 marks. Yes, we say agent cannot appoint one more agent as sub-agent, but there are certain situations where you can appoint 3 situations. One is the appointment of sub-agent would be valid if the terms of appointment originally contemplated it. What is contemplated? Containing a condition with respect to it. Original agreement only between agent and principal is telling that you can appoint one more agent. Then you can easily appoint. There is no wrong in that. Second one is depending on the trade may provide for appointment of sub-agents. In both the cases, the sub-agents would be treated as agent of the principal. It is like principal is there, agent is there, sub-agent is there. For this party, they are agent and is principal. For this party, he is agent and he is principal. So what are the exceptions? First one is given the terms of appointment. Second one is it is custom or trade. What is customs or trade? You know that construction business, road construction, all those things, the contractor will always subcontract it because it is customary in nature. Then it happens. The third one, wherein where in the course of agent's employment, unforeseen emergency arises, making it necessary for him to delegate the authority for him to given by the principal. For example, the same Flipkart example only I'll take. My uncle is the agent of Flipkart. Now he met with an accident, both the legs are damaged. How can you walk and how can you deliver that? The situation is like that. You don't have any other option to deliver that. Then you can appoint one more person as a sub agent, then you can do those things. Then this is same I already discussed. The sub agent, sorry, principal is liable to third parties for the acts of sub agent only if it is appointed by valid permission. Agents responsible for sub agents, then agent is responsible for principal also. Sub agent's liability to principal. The sub agent is responsible for the acts of the agent, but not to the principal, except in case of fraud or willful wrong. That means sub agent is no way responsible, no way answerable to principal, except in case of fraud or unwillingness. Substituted agent, you can go through, we already discussed that. To mark this as important for 6 marks. Sub agent and substituted agent difference. What are the duties and obligations of an agent? To follow whatever instructions given by the principal, to sell on behalf of the principal, to collect the money, to remit it back to the principal, to collect the commission, then to take care of the reasonable care of the goods, should not mix with his own goods, should not do the unauthorized usage. Those things are only there here. Please go through that. So duties and obligation, I don't want to discuss those things. There is unnecessary time waste. At least my throat will get some rest. We're almost done. Last 10 more minutes. See, what are the duties and all those things, rights are there. We already discussed that. Can agent exercise the lien on principal's property? If the commission is not paid, if the money is not paid, you can withhold those things. Then this is also an important concept. Personal liability of an agent to third parties. Page number 118. Before that, everything is rights and duties only. We'll go through that. What are the personal liability of agent to third parties? Generally, agent is not personally liable to the any third party, but there are certain situations. What are the situations? There are. First one is agent can't personally enforce nor be bound by contracts on behalf of the principal because principal is only ultimately liable. But some exceptions are where the contract is made by an agent for the sale or purchase of the goods for the merchant resident abroad or foreign principal. The principal is there in the outside country. In that case, he will be liable for all the acts in the country. That is one thing. This is foreign principal. Then, where the agent does not disclose the name of the principal or undisclosed principal. In case of undisclosed principal also, that means whenever you want to enter in the contract, he is not disclosing the name of the principal only. Like he is dealing in his own name. Or he is telling that I am acting on somebody's name, but he is not telling the name. Or he is acting on, he is telling that yes, I am the owner, I am everything. Then in those two cases also personally liable. Non-existence or incompetent principal. The principal is minor. In that case, agent only will be liable. Or agent principal is fake principal. The principal is only not there. Then pretended agent. What is pretended agent? The person who act like he is an agent of somebody. Then they're personally liable. How can you hold somebody's liable? And when the agent exceeds the authority, I told him to only buy, but he is doing the selling, financing, everything. Then for all those things, he is personally liable. Remaining things can be, I feel, self-manageable. You please go through it once. You please go through everything, whatever the things left. If you have any doubt with respect to any point, you do ask. Don't hesitate, do ask any doubts.
The revocation to renunciation.
Revocation means taking back. Renunciation means giving away
Revocation is by the principal and renunciation.
by the agent.
So implied renunciation.
Implied means not by express part. He is not telling, he is not writing anything, but because of one act, it has been impliedly renounced. For example, implied renunciation. No, renunciation means giving away all his powers and duties. The agent
When the principal has been badly.
It is from the perspective of the principal only, not from the perspective of agent. Because principal does something, he renounced his rights as well as duties. If agent does something, principal would have revoked that authority. Because principal does something, because of the act by the principal, his authority has been renounced. For example, I am not getting any right example. It is like they agreed that on a monthly basis, we have principal will make the payment to the agent. But 1 month is over, principal did not make the payment. It is as good as it is impliedly renounced my right. I don't want to act as agent for you because you are not making payment on what is that, regular basis. If they are agreed, you have to make payment on monthly basis, and monthly payment is not done, then they can consider it as agent has renounced his rights to the principal. ಏನಂತೀಯಲ್ಲೋ?
The negligence of agent,
Huh?
principal will have
For?
negligence of agent.
But if the negligence is within the power given to the agent, then principal is liable. For example, I am the principal, Arab is the agent, I told him to buy the goods. If any negligence happens in case of buying the goods, then I am liable. And if any negligence happens in case of selling, I am not liable because I did not give any power to selling only. Within the authority given to the agent, then that is principal is liable for that. Principal insolvent ಆದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ನು ರೊಕ್ಕ liable
agent